Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to our live stream. It's just me today. Sorry, Alex had to shuffle some stuff around with his work situation, so that's why I'm a little bit late. But if you can hear me and everything is good, please let me know. Okay, so today we are doing a lovely, juicy reading of What Is Their Fantasies? What is their fantasies? What are their fantasies? So I kind of went back and forth on doing this one. I have a list of readings that I'm doing and that I want to do. And I went back and forth on this one because YouTube's not the same place that it used to be. So I more mean like a vanilla kind of, okay, everybody's good. Okay, cool. This isn't going to be like 18 plus or nitty gritty, but we're going to try to get into their fantasies, their daytime kind of fantasies, things like that. We're going to keep it PG-13 around here today. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you before we get into this, I have started reading this book, The King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. I think I mentioned that I was getting this book because I saw it on this like Jungian channel on YouTube. And I read the first couple chapters and it is really interesting. So I was thinking maybe instead of the general messages, because it has been kind of repeating messages, that maybe if you guys wanted to, we could read the first chapter of this for the general messages. But let me know in the comments what you think. It's pretty good. From what I understand of it, like it's pretty good. So, okay, I wanted to mention that, but let's go ahead and get into the reading. We do have an anchor card. For those of you that are new around here, the anchor card is not one of the choices. It is sometimes an anchor card just falls out when we're shuffling to get the piles. And we had the Aletheia, which of course is like the truth energy, but this is like a base energy for the reading. It's a very grounding kind of energy. And I like to make sure that you get a look at that and like all the main cards, because I feel like we read the cards together. I feel like I pick up on more general messages. So use your discernment, but also you pick up probably on things that I'm missing that are maybe specific to your situation. It might also be specific to other people's situations. So feel free to share your insights or things like that in the comment section as well. Okay, and so let's put up our choices. If you have not already chosen your pile, now is the perfect time to do so. We've got pile number 1, which is the comic, pile number 2, which is the venom, and pile number 3, which is the creator. So I'll put them all up here, and if you haven't already, now is the perfect time for me to calm down after rushing around here, and for you to choose your pile, and we'll just take that moment of silence and allow our energies to kind of settle so we can move forward into the reading. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and your mouth and your ears. I'm kidding. You can be drawn into whatever pile or multiple piles you are drawn into. Oh my gosh, Boss Lady says the creator probably has the best fantasies. Fire emojis. Can we have some rated R puns? I love dirty puns almost as much as fishing puns. Nice. I'll do my best. Okay, we have 2 piles today. Nice. All right, so I'll leave us up for another second or two. Get a little drink. Put a little gloss on. And if you need, sorry if that was loud near the microphone. If you need another couple minutes here with this, then you can go ahead and pause here. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and move into pile number 1, the comic. Okay, pile number 1. Let's see. What are pile number 1's person's fantasies about them? Dirty. I'm kidding. Okay, let's just see. What are pile number 1's person's fantasies about them, regarding them? We've got Sheila and a gig. We've got new beginnings. We've got this compassion energy. Oh no. Cycles. Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like this person is really looking for a new beginning. And I feel like you represent that new beginning for them in terms of their fantasies. I feel like this person has actually been going through a really hard time despite this like comic. I don't know if you can see like the cat looks like it has a mask on and it's really sad beneath that mask. So I feel like this person has maybe been putting on a bit of a show out there and they haven't really been having the best time for whatever reason. So they fantasize about having this big new beginning in their life, but it's like this fresh energy, kind of jump starting their motor, if you will, with, especially like with you and with getting to know you and with love and with this kind of schmegel energy. And it's kind of all one in the same, but it's exciting and it's fresh and it's new. So, what fantasies does this person have, Spirit, in regards of pile number 1? What are their fantasies? What does pile number 1 fantasize? What does their person fantasize about them? Oh, tell me why we had the 7 of Swords come out with the moon at the bottom. Is this a secret situation? Okay, or maybe, okay, wait. What are the fantasies that are going on here, Spirit? What are the fantasies that pile number 1, their person has about them? What are their fantasies? Okay, well, for some of you, there is like maybe this person has like seen you on like an online dating site or something. So they do fantasize about sending you some type of message. I think they fantasize about you. Okay, I'm kind of getting 2 piles here and I can't really get I'm trying to kind of drill in to one here. Hold on. Who is this person and what are their fantasies with pile number 1, Spirit? What is this? What is going on in this pile? Okay, okay, I didn't want this to be the case. I'm kind of fighting the message here at this point, but I feel like this person they're fantasizing that you are in some type of turmoil, but I think it's over them and like some type of message that they sent or like you kind of wanting a message. Like maybe this person fantasizes about like adding you on some type of online platform if they've seen your profile or something, and that you're kind of like stressed out waiting for some type of message to come through from this person and that they're kind of breadcrumbing you. Now, another way that this fantasy could also go is that this person's maybe rescuing you from the dating game. Like that it's so hard to date online and, nobody really puts in the effort anymore kind of thing. And that you are dealing with that and this person's kind of like coming in to save the day. But I think it could go either way, but I think for a lot of you, this person's kind of fantasizing about you just kind of biting on their hook, biting on their lure. You made me want to leave the one I'm with. Yeah. What is this? Okay, this person, the 5 of Cups. I think they fantasize about you being sad that they're like in a relationship with somebody else and like seeing them with somebody else. Or if it's not you being sad, then it's the person that they're with being sad, because I'm seeing the Queen of Wands in my mind. Like that's either you or that's like the person that you're with. So this person there's like a level of vindictiveness that's coming through here in this person. And I just want to ask why and where that comes from, because this is really throwing me. What a weird fantasy to have. I was not expecting this, pile number 1. Sorry. Oh, it's hiding the truth. Because I just looked down at like this Alethea thing. It's hiding the truth. So what is the truth? Oh my gosh, this person is crazy. Okay, so the truth is that this person is wanting, I think, you, but maybe this is for some of you, again, like this person that they're trying to bait into like an argument, but The truth, it's hiding the truth. And the truth is somehow, some way that this person like actually wants to build with you, and they want to like work together with you. They want you to be so attracted to them. Somehow this person must think that this is attractive. They want you to think that they have like other options or something like that, even though we've seen the truth. Remember I said this is hiding the truth, and the truth about this person is that they've been really sad. They're kind of feeling stinky. They're kind of feeling smelly. It's very much giving like the male version of Cardigan from Taylor Swift. It's like, just when I thought I was an old cardigan, you put me on and said I was your favorite. But it's like this person can't fathom them being your favorite and them kind of getting your motor running here if they don't have some type of competition or like some type of third party situation. Not necessarily even like third party, but it's like options. They want you to think that they have like other options. And it's about this fantasy very much centers around their ego. It very much centers around their desirability. And maybe this is just what they think about, because, you know, our fantasies can tell us a lot about ourselves and our like, you know, a lot of times we can correct things for ourselves in our fantasies that we can't correct in like real life, if you know what I mean. And so I think this person feels the opposite of all these things. So like their fantasy here has like a lot of bravado to it, but I think it's because this person's actually not feeling attractive. I think they're actually not feeling strong, but they want you to think that they're attractive. I feel like this has got to be the difference between like a vasopressin, hefty nervous system versus like oxytocin. Like women fall in love with that oxytocin, closeness, cooperative bonding hormone, and men, for some reason, they fall in love with that like vasopressin, like, you know, if you kind of give them a run for their money kind of thing, if you stress them out a little bit, then for some reason they attach more value to you and like put you like higher on a pedestal. He doesn't understand that you're different in terms of your chemical system, or maybe you're not. Maybe for some of you, this is like two men. So maybe this comes across a little different for you. If that's the case, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I think he's kind of putting himself in your shoes, like, well, what would I think was attractive kind of thing. So, and he's wanting to bolster himself up, but it's from this like very masculine kind of perspective. And it's really because he's feeling like low, he's feeling ashamed, he's feeling emotional. And I think this is like another guy. I'm so sorry. You probably don't find this. I don't know. I'm going to pull your cards and see how you're feeling about this person before you know about like their fantasies. And honestly, maybe this person's just going through a rough time, but I just get that this might be the type of person where after you guys like hook up or whatever, they kind of dump a lot of their problems on you. Like their emotional problems. Oh my gosh. Okay. This person, I feel like they're going through a rough time. Like I can't say that enough with this pile. I feel like they must be going through a really hard time. Their self-esteem has really taken a hit, and they kind of have this fantasy of overthrowing another man. And maybe this is another man that they've seen around you, but it's weird because it's like they're the knight and they kind of fantasize about toppling a king, but they fantasize about doing that with these kind of like very boyish behaviors. I don't get that this person is super young. I'm actually feeling like this person's feeling sort of maybe older than their years, or kind of like, you know, used up in a kind of way, but the tactics that they would use to kind of overthrow this man in your life, they're not mature. They're not honorable. They're really like brash. It's like taunting. It's very okay. What are this person's fantasies? Okay. They really fantasize about starting some type of argument either with you, but it has to do with the men around you. So this person fantasizes. I shouldn't be laughing, okay? This person fantasizes about you being surrounded with other suitors. And I'm getting like other men with the world card, because the world card is surrounded by those fixed signs, like the emblems of the fixed signs, which to me, it's like a very powerful energy. Somebody who's grounded, somebody who is like kind of not necessarily stubborn, but somebody who can really hold their ground. And this person fantasizes about you being surrounded by a lot of these suitors that are all very interested in you, all very attracted to you. And they kind of burst in with some type of like argument, and they're either arguing with you about like, what are you doing over here, like with all these people, like these people suck, like blah blah blah, like we're supposed to be together, what are you doing, like can't you see that like this man is a blah 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 and like this other man is a blah blah blah, you know, or like something here like that. Or he's just in their faces, like I don't know, maybe comes in all like, you know, John Wayne, but like, you know, the modern version of that, like walks into the saloon kind of a thing. It's like that. Okay, what are this person's fantasies? He fantasizes about getting you to view he fantasizes about getting you to view these, like this other man that's around you, or these other suitors that you have that are great from the looks of it. These are like people who are clean and stable and who have nice jobs and like things to kind of offer. They say something that gets you to view them differently. So maybe they reveal some type of like secret information or something like that. And then you look at them differently, and you look at basically the world differently. So this person in their fantasies, I feel like, is kind of rearranging the entire world, where their traits are seen as more positive, and like that they've been under attack, or like they've been like very strong and they've had to like persevere and everything, and that all these people who are doing really well and like they're you know like maybe more impressive in certain ways than they are, like those are really not the good options. Like this person's kind of like the good option. I'm so sorry. This is probably on a scale of desert to monsoon. Where are you at, girl? Where are you at? I'm joking. Okay. So his issues are with other men and his self-esteem. Yeah, because he wants to prove his self-esteem by kind of rivaling other men. And also this is kind of diamond in the rough energy. Like he wants, and I think this is what he's craving, is he's wanting somebody to see his value. I think that's what he's wanting. He's craving for somebody to see and reaffirm his value, because his life has not reflected that. He's definitely going through like a dark night of the soul. So maybe he doesn't usually, you know, maybe it's not usually this way, but I feel like, I just think he's down and out, or like, yeah, he's like maybe a down and outer, or down on his luck. Actually, let me just kind of, I want to go over there with my mind, then we'll pick up this fantasy. Like, show me, what is this man doing? Like, is he down and out on his luck? Like, what are his circumstances? Well, he's really, really focused on you. Okay, because we've got this Empress, we've got the World, and then we've got the Four of Wands. So I feel like for some of you, this is somebody where they kind of feel that there's been a restriction in their Venus energy. And Venus rules over money. It rules over like the kind of luxuries. It rules over things kind of growing. And they also view you as the Empress. So that's why the two seem to go together. I actually feel like love and money tend to go together here for this person in regards to their fantasies, in regards to their life, because I feel like this is a guy who very much early on, or at a critical crossroads in his life, went down a Mars route. Like, I'm seeing Venus and Mars kind of being two different routes here to go in terms of their success. So Venus, of course, being a benefic, Mars is a malefic, and not to be too like, rudimentary at all. But yeah, so like going down Venus is like living up to their values, and it has this like being energy. So it's like, well, this is what I am, so I'm going to bring it out to the world. I'm going to kind of be like giving in some type of way. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be balanced. But I feel like instead he went down a Mars track, which sort of scorched everything is what I'm getting. It kind of like burnt up everything really, really quickly, because he values like that kind of Mars energy. And I feel like his life circumstances, I'm seeing somebody spinning their wheels. Like they kind of got stuck in the mud at some point, and people say like, oh, you're just like a stick in the mud. I feel like this person is kind of a shell of their former self. I don't know that this person's former self, but I think that they used to be very optimistic or like very happy. Yeah, I just looked down at the bottom like of the deck, it was like the back. So I think that they were just like excited, like, what's this gonna be, kind of thing. And now like they've gone down their path. Something here has played out. I think something here actually broke down sooner than they quite realized. So I don't know if this person had recently like taken some type of opportunity or something that they thought was going to pan out, but I feel like it petered out faster than they kind of like realized. And so this person, that's just kind of where they're at in their emotions, and they're just sort of fixing it in their fantasies. What else can you tell me about this person's spirit? Sorry, I quickly lost interest in that fantasy. And I'm just like curious where this is coming from, because I feel like this person's actually really hurt. Where is this person coming from when it comes to their fantasies, spirit? I think you clearly are like, you're seen by this person kind of as a trophy. You're seen as validation. And I don't think this person necessarily means to see you as an object, but I think that it's something about winning you. Like I keep seeing you in the center and like the men are around you kind of a thing. And so you are clearly seen as like the empress, as somebody very desirable. And so if he could disperse these men and get you, then he is seen as desirable, if that makes sense. And I also feel, like you kind of have favorite sort of energy. And there's something here to do with prominence, because I feel like you stand out, even if I'm not saying that you're like famous or like that you have a following, although, I mean, take this however it resonates. But I feel like this person they're trying to rebuild their confidence here with all this yellow solar plexus energy. They're trying to be this Nine of Pentacles. They want to sort of like build things the right way. But it's like this person, there's this psychological conundrum about how do I convince this empress who has her pick of the litter of actual emperors or kings to go with a knight. And so I feel like it gets maybe very Lancelot, Guinevere, where they kind of maybe they play a knight. You need a knight when you're under threat. So I feel like this person is like they fantasize about going in, getting you, and like bringing you out, and like having to take you away is what I'm getting, to their compound where they can keep you safe and only they can keep you safe. And so then you start to value like, yeah, those other men were successful in business or they were successful in like whatever, but I'm the warrior, I'm the fighter kind of thing. Like, I don't know. And that the two of you just decide to be happy. Oh my gosh. Okay. The two of you just decide to be happy and like kind of, just you live off the grid to wherever like compound that this person takes you to. And you guys have like, a family together really. And you kind of choose to live this, you could have had a better life, but then you choose to live like a not so glamorous life, not even really glamorous. It's like you choose to kind of not have like a, I don't know, I'm kind of getting that they were like in rags a little bit. Like you choose to live this kind of life with them, but maybe they grow in some type of prominence here, but I don't think they really actually have much desire to grow in prominence or to start a business or anything. I don't actually think that this person has that kind of, I think they feel bad about that. Like if they were to really poke around, and I don't think that they have, but I don't think that they really have that drive, and that's okay, but I think this person feels like to get the woman that they want, they would need to at least front that. It's a bit of a bait and switch here, if I'm being honest, at the beginning, because it's like, oh, well, but then it's just kind of you live off the grid. But I feel like it's a necessity because of some type of danger that you're in. So he must fantasize that you're in some type of danger. And then he has to remove you. This is also like, he imagines there being love, because I saw the 10 of Cups, but it's very much isolating you away from these other men, because he's taking you from the room that you were in off to this secluded little compound where it's just the two of you, and he doesn't feel the pressure of those other men because you're so beautiful and desirable, and you have all these traits that these other men who are successful and would offer you more find value in. And so he gets that. He gets like the top lady without necessarily being the top dog, if that makes sense. I'm sorry. But he makes it to where you choose him because you guys are like soulmates or something here. This is all about you choosing him, but he's kind of putting his finger on the scale in the fantasy, to be honest, because he's removing you to where these other men can't see you, and you can't see these other men. Just saying. Yeah, he wants to leverage his strengths. Also, I don't know if there's been a situation where a man, not even with you, like, I don't know if there's been a situation in his life where some man who actually, I honestly think was maybe noble or in the right, was very competent, was kind of like successful, called him out. I kind of think that there was, even if it was his own dad or something, and he viewed his dad as being more successful because his dad, I don't know. And he really holds on to that resentment. This is a fantasy that is in some way fueled by kind of like resentment of feeling not good enough, but feeling owed and entitled to like you or something here. You know what's so funny is that I kept telling you, right? I kept putting the fantasies on the list and then like kind of taking it off and then putting it on the list and then taking it off. I've done that for like months now. And I was like, why am I so scared to do like a fantasy reading on YouTube? And I think this might have been it. Like this, I was like, maybe part of me was like, this isn't going to be what you think it is kind of thing. they kind of feel like they fantasize about the two of you being soulmates and like the divine stepping in to, I don't know, put you under threat. And then, but this, you see this person as your savior and it changes their destiny and you have all this love for them and you just think about them all the time. Like they fantasize about you falling in love with them. And they fantasize about like convincing you that they have to keep the world out, you know? I feel like we've seen this play out on like true crime. Okay, so what else are this person's fantasies? Oh my gosh. Who is this person? I just have to ask. Because every time I'm like peeking around like the corner here. Okay, he fantasizes about, there's been two kings that have come out now that he's fantasized in particular about overturning. One is the King of Wands. So somebody, maybe that's an entrepreneur, somebody sexy, somebody who is very confident, somebody who's like a leader who can not just boss people around, but truly understands like the flow of how things should go. Fire energy, I don't know, they tend to be really good with like social like cohesion and flow. And somebody who is maybe funny, actually, because this person I think maybe doesn't feel funny. Maybe they've tried to be funny. This person's not coming off well. I'm so sorry. So he fantasized about tipping that guy. Maybe even somebody who is like very athletic or very capable with his body or like with his like a skill set that involves his body. Maybe somebody who works a dangerous job or somebody who works with their hands or something like that. Then there's another type of king that he fantasizes about overturning, and it's his King of Cups. This would be somebody who is more of a refined masculine, somebody who genuinely loves you, first of all. And I saw the Tower card coming up around this person. So I think maybe he's even seen that there's a genuine love or bonding that's like kind of formulating between you and this King of Cups. And, but also the King of Cups is a masculine who is in touch with his emotions and who is very loving, offers a lot of like very wise guidance, is maybe very creative. So this guy doesn't seem, I'm just gonna be very honest, it's like he doesn't seem like he has really much to offer. I think he has a fantasy of pretending that that's not really his fault and that the world has got him wrong and that the world selects for the wrong traits in men and that you will soon know that. But I don't, these are kind of great guys that I'm seeing that he's kind of overturned here. And he fantasizes about being the favorite because of being able to save you or something. Really, I think this guy's trying to use you to bump his status is kind of what I'm getting. Like the fantasy about you is a shortcut to him feeling worth. This is a guy that needs to feel his own worth. I don't think that he has really been selected out of a crowd for anything or like noticed for anything, at least not recently. Tell me more about this guy, Spirit. Tell me more about this guy. I think this is somebody who sees you in love with someone else. Or he sees you as the Empress, and the Empress is the embodiment of all four queens, but he sees you as a Queen of Cups, as somebody that his tactics don't work on, is kind of what I'm getting. Like, as somebody that kind of keeps herself safe from him emotionally, like removed from him. So it's like you have found, I don't know, he's used to controlling certain kinds of women with these tactics that maybe feel they need his validation or something, and you don't, and he sees you very much as not needing that. And so his fantasy puts you into a position where you sort of have to pay attention to him and take him seriously. And that you sort of realize that he's the higher cup and everything, but he knows he's not. For some of you, he fantasizes about you being forced into a marriage, like having to choose of these men and you not wanting to, and him saying, you don't have to choose, like we can just be single together forever and have a baby. I don't know if you can hear all of those lawnmowers that suddenly kicked up around me, and I feel like there's a lot of like mental noise. I almost get that that's an embodiment of him trying to kind of like push me out of, which, yeah. Okay, so he also fantasizes about some type of like impulse thing where you throw reason out the window. So like you throw your observation, your hesitancy, your emotional stability, all the things that actually keep you safe from this man. And you just kind of are in this fool energy and you're like, you know, my intuition is telling me this and like, fuck it, I'm just going to like dive in. And then it ends up there's still something with you moving away from some kind of happy situation. 'Cause I don't know, like, you just get a feeling, but you have to throw away your Queen of Cups energy to get this feeling. So make that make sense. It's just this feeling that's like kind of disembodied. Doesn't really make any sense because God would never move you towards this person and away from a happy, stable situation. And then you would have like this 10 of Cups. This guy he's very nervous about a group of friends that you have around you that seem to love you and care about you. And yeah. Okay, this is so weird. This guy is so confused in his mind because he acts like he's like done so much like towards this connection. But when I ask like, okay, so what did you do so much? It's the 5 of Swords. It's a 5 of Swords. So this guy's like a manipulator. How has this guy manipulated or tried to manipulate you? This is a guy who's tried to isolate you or who's tried to make you like doubt your friends or like something here like that. Spirit has tried to get through to this man, to get him to take his own higher cup, to move. This is a guy with a lot of karmas in regards of dating and sex and romance, children and legacy, which it kind of in a weird way makes sense that he would fantasize so much about this because always in these fantasies, I'm seeing him isolate you, pulling him away to have this family. But this is not a guy who is an emperor because he's not a guy that thinks, okay, for me to have a happy family, I need to be the best version of myself, which means I need to have an understanding in the air suit, in the pentacle suit, in the fire suit, in the water suit, to create this well-rounded person who can actually raise children up and like be a participant in that. No, he just wants to have the best family and he feels like to have the best family, he needs to have the best partner and you are the best partner for him. And so he feels like if all I need to do is convince this person to isolate themselves and to let me impregnate them and I will have I will have the best situation and also all these men will be jealous of me. That's what he really wants. This fantasy with you is more about other men. And I think somebody said that in the comment section. It's more about showing off for other men because it's giving, I'm just going to say it. It's giving limp dick. It's giving small dick energy. And I'm not talking about their actual part. I'm just saying like they feel inadequate in a manly way. And they feel like just by getting you, then they can stunt on all these men and be like, so for all of that, you were building yourself up and you were making yourself stronger. And then for all of that, I still get the best girl. And I have nothing to offer her. And I still get the best girl. That's how like great I am. It's about stunning on other men. And then it's about looking back at this, oh my gosh, this King of Cups again at the bottom of the deck. Because he's sad that you left and that you blocked yourself off from him. What an abusive person. I don't know who this person is in your life. I'm kind of getting for some of you, this is maybe like a new person or somebody that saw you on a dating app. But just no to all of this. No. Why is this guy so vindictive? This guy just doesn't understand success or like the human experience or the human journey. I feel like he's gone in for a lot of temptations in his life. He feels actually confused quite a bit of the time. And I think for some that's like kind of an intellect thing, but for others it's a kind of combination of an intellect thing and a maybe he has a drinking problem, but also I'm getting like an emotional thing. Like he's not very like socially emotionally strong as well, so he doesn't really know how to navigate well. I think there is a manly issue here. Like maybe the father wasn't around, or the father was like always busy and not kind of, and we're going to maybe read about this in this book later, but it's like there's no initiating him into the realm of genuine masculinity, but still wanting to be like not just accepted by men, but to be seen as triumphing over men. But this fantasy, to me, it's entirely about men and being accepted and maybe worshipped and praised by men, and using a woman, because he's probably had this fantasy about other people as well, but you certainly fit this like mold here, using a woman to sort of like be the trophy and to validate his masculinity and to stunt on these other men that he doesn't stunt on in any other way. And he's counting on you being able to overlook that, or like not see that in the same way, that, well, these other guys really actually do genuinely have other things to offer you, not just necessarily money. Stability can, like, emotional stability. Like, this guy wants you to basically be his Band-Aid. Yeah, he wants to use you. I feel for some of you, this also could be a friend. And Spirit put you in this person's life because you are genuinely a friend. Like, I think maybe you know this person's less impressive, but you still like them and love them and care for them as a person. But I think maybe you're still in some type of danger here. Maybe you're still in some type of danger here because of his own inner turmoil. He's going to drag you into it. He's going to try to act out this fantasy where he isolates you. Be careful of this guy trying to isolate you. And if he worms his way into a friend spot, you might well think like it's okay to go with a guy like this somewhere alone. And I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And also I think he's delusional. And so he's going to hate on you because he's put too much of his masculinity in your hands. Like, because I think you're going to reject this person. He's unimpressive in a lot of ways and dangerous. But he's not thinking about you. The fantasy is really about him and other men. So that's what I have for you guys. I'm bi, so it's okay to be honest. Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear the lawn people? Because it feels like louder, but it also feels like everybody in the neighborhood like all decided to mow their lawns from like the different. There's no way to be secretly gay around other gay men, just saying. I love that. I'm bi too, equal opportunity predator. I think women have been giving men the benefit of the doubt for decades, thanks. Well, I think for a lot of us too, we haven't had, like, our foremothers didn't really have an option a lot of times because like women only could get bank accounts in like the 80s, and we're starting to see kind of we haven't had, at least in America, I know like not everywhere in the world, a lot of places have not had women's rights, and you're starting to see that roll back. They went after the trans women first, and they were like, can you believe these trans women want to play sports? And now they're going after women's sports just in general. Like there's just this eroding. He actually was more good looking and gorgeous compared to anyone I had interest in. Yeah. You must have good noise canceling because I don't hear. Okay, good. Okay, so let's move on to pile number 2 for this person's fantasies. And we didn't have the internet either, yeah. All right, so I'll leave this up here. If you're just joining us, you've joined at a great time. We just finished pile number 1. Be glad you missed it. If you feel drawn into pile number 1, Nike swish, just don't, okay? Don't listen to the pile, and also just no to the person. Okay, so pile number 2. Venom. Okay, so let us see. So for pile number 2, Spirit, do you hear it now? Skip it. Just don't. Okay, so for pile number 2, Spirit, what are this person's fantasies? What are their person's fantasies about them for pile number 2, Spirit? What are their person's fantasies about them for pile number 2? Please give us a better one, even though this is the Venom card. Memories, foundation, and healing. So this person wants to heal something with you, and their fantasies are very much wrapped up into that. Yeah, okay, so I feel like maybe you felt like you got bit by this person, and there was like this kind of toxic venom that they kind of put into you, but I feel like this person maybe wants to tell you the truth and wants to put like some type of antidote in, and they want to heal the situation. So tell me more about that. Heal from what? Oh, look, second chance. Okay, so this is somebody, maybe you guys said really negative things to one another. Maybe you had a really bad argument with this person who's fantasizing about you, but they are fantasizing very much about having some type of second chance. Okay. Yeah, so we've got shallow and pride at the bottom of the deck. So maybe for some of you, this person cheated, and they cheated in some type of like shallow situation, and it was like all about their pride, and it was about them maybe trying their arrogance. Yeah, arrogance, ego, stubborn kind of a thing. But also there could have also been an argument between the two of you. Like maybe for some of you, this does not involve a third party, but this person was just realizing that they were very prideful. Yeah, I'm hearing that Taylor Swift lyric, but you held your pride like you should have held me. And so maybe you guys were having an argument, and this wasn't, I think actually one of this person's biggest regrets is that this was a shallow argument, and it wasn't actually like a real argument, like a deep argument, something that was going to actually get to the root of some type of issue that the two of you were dealing with, and actually like turn it over so that you can have like some type of second chance or some type of new beginning. Look, divine masculine. So now I feel like we're getting back into this person's fantasies, because they fantasize about being stronger actually, like within themselves. So compare this to the first group, which was what it was, and if you know, you know. Okay, but this person is actually fantasizing about being a divine masculine themselves, and about, I think, taking charge or taking the lead in this situation here. What is this person fantasizing about, Spirit? Open heart. Stress. Tension. Okay, so this person is fantasizing about opening their heart to you, and they're fantasizing about, notice this like pink and black energy. That's kind of what I'm getting, like the mixing of like the strong, like tough energies, but also like the sweet energies. They want to take the lead in opening their heart and in being vulnerable. Look, okay, so we've got lusting here, so it still is a spicy fantasy is what they're saying. Possibilities. Rejection. Interesting. Okay, so for some, this person is afraid of some type of rejection. I feel like this person who's fantasizing about you, they could have led with the lusting energy towards you. They could have made you feel like it was all just about the schmegs between the two of you, because we also have this possibilities, which is like adventure and risks. So like maybe this person was like, I just want to take a bunch of like risks with not just with you, but maybe with other people. Maybe for some of you, this person like told you not to catch feelings or something, like that this just, it was what it was. But actually what they're saying is like that was all pretend, that was all a bluff. And it was because this person, their pride, they were kind of trying to protect their ego, they were trying to protect their pride, when actually I feel like this person saw like a lot of possibilities with you, but they were afraid of rejection, and they feel like they got karma for that. And the karma was like having conflict with you. And this person actually sees you as not a person who like goes looking for conflict. They see you as being like very charming, very beautiful, and very graceful. So there's a huge aspect. This person is not like, okay, I'm going to get into what this person is like fantasizing about, but I think this person, their fantasies are like intertwined with this whole concept of making things right with you. But they're, okay, so like how pile number one, they were in competition with other men, and their focus was extremely outside of themselves, not just on you as like an object and a trophy, but on other men as like they wanted to stunt on other men in order to try and like, you know, prove themselves in some type of way. Well, this person, their focus in this fantasy is on actually healing things with you, and it's on you, and it's like actually about connecting with you, but it's also intertwined with them, like them actually being a better version of themselves. That's what they kind of fantasize about. Yeah, we've got time here and ecstasy and hopeless. I think this person feels like they were in a cycle of like chasing thrills for too long, and that they had really outgrown it. But I think this is even like coming from their heart space. For some of you, this is a total shock. This is a total shock that this person, because I think for some of you, you view this person as just not wanting anything serious. Like, I think when you clicked on this fantasy reading and you were thinking about this person, I think you were like, okay, so you know that book, The Joy of Sex, and it's like all those different sex positions. And so you're like, picturing this person like with that book with like all these different bookmarks like in it, little notes on the side, like little, you know, and so you're like, okay, we're just gonna skip through like the first one, the second one, you know, they have all of these different kinds of fantasies. And I feel like they do. They're kind of even resistant to sharing that because they feel like they want to do something different with you. That's what's going to shock you is I feel like maybe this person is like that. Maybe that even was the kind of relationship that you had with this person in the past. But I feel like this person's actually resistant to that because they feel like they want like an emotional connection with you. They feel something different with you. They want something different with you. Look, secret admirer, suppressing and timid. They're actually timid to say that they want to maybe try making love, or they want to, what would it be like to build anticipation, but just to build that emotional connection and to not be so like jumping into like these cheap things where they feel like they sort of kind of, they can have one kind of experience and they have had that kind of experience, but they could have a different experience and they don't know. I actually think this person doesn't know how to lead in that regard. They don't kind of know where they're going. This is a path they feel like you're more familiar with, like elusive. So I think this is weirdly, I feel like this is a person who, yeah, maybe has led with lust for a long period of time. Maybe they're always like with people, different people. They don't have a trouble getting short-term hookups, but love has been like kind of elusive for them. And they want this person actually, I feel like for whoever this is, like in your mind, this is probably very shocking to you because they want to bring you this like confession. Their fantasies, I think, involve, okay, so I'm seeing somebody like show up with this lantern, like knock on your door like at night and like you kind of come out, you guys are sitting on a porch swing, just kind of like talking and like having a conversation. It's very much giving Mr. Darcy, after Elizabeth Bennet tells him that he should practice having conversations because he's like, I do not have the talent of conversing easily with people whom I have never met before. And she's like, oh, and nobody can be introduced in a ballroom. And then in the book, she talks about how, well, she doesn't play the piano all that well, but she also doesn't spend her time trying to play the piano all that well. But she knows she could figure out how to move her fingers in the same way that other people do to play certain songs, like if they wanted to. So she's basically telling him like, well, you should practice, having conversations. And then he does with her. He kind of bursts in and he's like, this is a charming house. And, he's saying like a bunch of random things, but you can tell that he's actually like trying. So I feel like this person, like, I think they actually want to lead this, but they also don't know, and I don't think they want to come off as Mr. Darcy, like, with like, this is a charming house, and a charming porch swing, and like, whatever. Like, but it's like this kind of cozy, they want this kind of cozy, quiet, intimate. They like you. They like your personality. This person, they are really attracted to you. They don't want you to feel like they're not fantasizing about clapping your cheeks or whatever, but like they are just, they like you. This person, I like you. I'm hearing that from Hitch. I like you. When he makes her shut the door so that he can say that and he doesn't have to look her in the face because he gets like too nervous. I feel like you make this person feel a type of way that they haven't felt with other people. And I feel like this person, I kind of think they get around. I think that it's kind of because they don't care. I think as soon as this person starts to care and they start to feel like this like emotional kind of charge towards somebody, this person's like, it's so fucked up. I know that it's so fucked up, but it's like, as soon as I start to care, I start to get weird. I start to put my foot in my mouth. I start to like sweat, or I start to like say weird things like, this is a charming house. And like, you're not even standing near a house or something. Yeah. Or like in Emma with Mr. Elton, where he keeps saying like, I've heard it described as one of the finest houses in the country. And like, that's just his default to like start a conversation. So he gets nervous and like, he always just says that. And at some point over the course of the evening, people are really sick of hearing him say that. Like, I think this person, I think this person feels like, I don't know, that you would be surprised that they are fantasizing about maybe, again, telling you the truth. And having like a new beginning, but it's a new beginning in love. I think they fantasize too about like doing romantic things. This also reminds me, I think I was telling you guys this. I don't know where I was saying this because it might have been on Patreon, but I watched this lady and she was on Impact Theory, but the women's Impact Theory. And she is like a sex expert or like therapist or something. She helps people navigate those like issues and their own schmegduality kind of thing. And she was talking about how people can get very confused, especially like men and women, because of our culture and the way that our culture trains us. So there's different kinds of schmegduality. Like one is very kind of psychic, where I always think about 40 Days and 40 Nights. Remember that movie with Josh Hartnett and like the blowing of that rose petal? And apparently that was like very exciting. And you're kind of watching that and you're like, okay, I mean, I get where you're going with that, but like, okay. So there's that where it's like this kind of somebody who pays attention to kind of the subtle energies in the room. Then there's the romantic type and the sensual type. And then there's people who like just the carnage of like the close-up money shots, like that kind of thing. And there's two more, but like she uses this example between men and women where like if you're a woman and culture tells you that you're supposed to like romance and you're supposed to like, all the soft stuff and everything, but you actually, what gets you turned on is actually those like the hardcore stuff. You're like, you might think that there's something wrong with you if like, or, like you're supposed to want more like romance or something. I kind of feel like for this guy, because of like culture being around, it's like, he's not actually like super hardcore. When I feel like it's like devoid of emotion, I literally felt tears want to come out of my eyes. Like I feel this person has been pushed into a certain expression of their schmegduality. They are a very schmegdual person, but they've been pushed into a certain expression of it because they just think that because they're a guy, they're supposed to have like meaningless, devoid kind of schmegs or whatever. And I think it's kind of, there is a like blunted experience, but I think actually his true schmegduality might be more romantic, or it might be more he might be really intuitive, like it might be more kind of like of that subtler energies where you can pay attention to the way the energies kind of like subtly build between two people, and that's like a version of anticipation, but you blunt all that out just so that you can see like P and V and like whatever, and it's like that jackhammer sort of like thing, and he's not kind of really like that, and I think he feels that he was playing that out and was like sort of on autopilot. It was this like unconscious thing whenever he was like with you, but you kind of represented something else. And he feels vulnerable. Like he feels, I think, truly vulnerable and like being able to open up his heart in regards to that. So I think that this is a person who fantasizes about being truly romantic with you, doing the little things like bringing you flowers and sitting quietly even together, like outside of like overstimulation. This person might actually get overstimulated because this might actually be a person that like goes out to the club and everything and it's just like also, but like didn't really know, like I just heard I'm an ambivert or like I'm an introvert or something like that. And so I feel like they've just been living their life trying to be accepted, but they don't really even like it. And so I think that they kind of met you and they didn't know what to do with you, because they knew that they wanted you represent the key is what I'm getting. Like you represent unlocking all of that. And I think it was all so overwhelming, especially because this person didn't really have like a nuanced understanding of their schmegduality or of like their emotions, and they weren't encouraged like kind of down that pathway. Yeah, escaping. So I think this person, maybe for some of you, they walked away or they were escaping emotionally, avoiding, blocking, pushing away. I feel like this person was trying to avoid, block, and push away this connection. But it's like so much more than that because of what this connection represents. Because I feel like you were almost a lightning rod that came, in this person's mind, you came completely out of the blue. And for those of you that did have intimacy with this person, I feel like they felt a way with you that it felt like it came out of the blue. And this person maybe has been trying to replicate that. And they can't figure it out because they just naturally, I don't know what you did to me, but they just naturally had emotions for you that had an outlet when you guys were being able to do that. Even if this person was trying to pretend like they didn't have feelings for you or, whatever. So if that did occur, then I feel like this person is trying to like replicate that experience, but doing the same kind of weird stuff that they've been doing. They've been blocking and they've been trying to diminish like your importance. But it's like, how do I replicate that? But they like you beyond just this like narrow thing. They actually like you as a person. They like having conversations with you. They like your perspective. What a charming house. Like this person might legit like a change that you made to your house or something. Or they might like that you, I know with my husband, like he fixes random things around the house that I would never even notice. Like when cabinets squeak or something like that. I would just use a squeaky cabinet for my entire life. But then like every once in a while, he'll just like fix it and then it'll never make sounds again or something here like that, Look, family. This person might come from a broken family. And it maybe messed up their mirroring. Like it messed up their image of themselves. This to me looks like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Like there's that broken mirror on the, what was it, the East Wing or the West Wing, wherever the Beast lived. And there was like that broken mirror and that he like knocked down because he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. This kind of like Beast look commitment. Yeah, there's maybe some type of broken family situation. And for some, it's not even it might be their family of origin, but maybe this person got cheated on for some of you. Look, chasing. Something happened and they started chasing like something toxic. Abandoned. And so they were chasing something toxic and they left out, they walked away from you. They walked away from like loyalty because they owe you an apology. That's what they're saying. They didn't listen to their intuition. And maybe, I don't know. What was this? There's like an obsession image, energy that came out. Look, chemistry and pain. I think this person was obsessed. Chemistry and pain. It feels like they could have been obsessed with some type of, like, I call it a fuck fight cycle. So it could be like with an ex, or I just feel like this person, again, they go after people that they don't care about. So this could be like they sleep with like a lot of people that they don't care about. And so they have intimacy, which is a heightened experience, right? And then those people end up getting mad when this person like dips off, or because they were never interested to begin with. It's ironic. It's really weird because I feel like this person can kind of like easier sleep with people that they don't care about. And then they start getting weird, even in conversation or something, like with people that they actually do care about. So they'll kind of dip off, and then it'll cause those people, rightly so, to get very angry, and they yell at them. And it's all this such a intense experience because it does bring up shame in this person. And but it's such an intense experience that it drowns out their pain, their inner pain. It drowns out their shame. It drowns out the desire for like a family, but also like, because they have to drown out the desire for a family, because they can't just drown out the, well, I want a family, but I'll never be good enough for that. Because for some reason, this person like views themselves as like never being good enough for that, or they don't want a broken family. They don't want a broken home. And I think maybe for some, this person thinks or thought that the way to do that was to, or they don't want, I think they don't want a broken family because that's the most extreme kind of pain that they could imagine, because they want a family so bad. But for some reason, they only think about that falling apart and breaking. And so they, for some reason, think that it won't hurt so bad, even if they have a family that they don't put together themselves, if that makes sense. Like, it's not built on love. It's not built on their emotion or whatever. It's like built on something else. Look, only you. Devoted, attached, crave. This person is afraid of being like devoted. They're afraid of devotion, which we're all here on a spiritual path, most of us. Devotion is like the highest, most divine energy. Like if you are devoted to the right thing, maybe this person wasn't devoted to the right thing. Look, curse. Curse came out. I mean, they definitely have a negative mindset. Conflicted. I mean, maybe I pick up on weird energies sometimes. So maybe there has been some like kind of type of curse. Maybe it's a family curse, which family curse energy is the same thing as like having an attachment issue or something, where like this family sort of can't get over that. Maybe this person comes from a family where they haven't seen any successful relationships. You know, I know for me, I only saw one relationship in my childhood that I ever wanted to emulate. And then it was my sister's, one of my older sister. And then right before she got married, she told me and my little sister that he had cheated on her. And it was devastating because I truly thought, like, you never know how the effect that you're going to have on other people, just saying. But like, I was like, well, if those two people can't make it, like nobody can make it, because they were legit best friends. They had the best kind of relationship. They were roasting each other as a love language, but they always were like there for each other. They were interested in the same things. They met on this like, these like sports teams where they played like intramural sports, like this kind of, it was a co-ed group of people, and they were all like extremely competitive, and it was really cute. And, you know, and he cheated on her in a very horrific way. But they've been together forever. She forgave him. And she said, I promised myself that I would tell you guys this, whether we broke up or whether we were going to get married. And because she took being a big sister actually like very seriously. But she said that she didn't tell us earlier because she wanted us to be able to get to know him the same way that she got to know him. And I was like, you mean like falling in love with him and then having a betrayal? Thinking like, oh, this person fits right into our family. And then being like, what the fuck? You know, like, because that was fun, you know. But I remember being like, okay, so this is stupid. Like, it's never going to work. Like, this guy disrespected you, blah, blah, blah. But they're still married. They've been married forever. They have 4 beautiful kids that are very, very happy. And he didn't really have very high self-esteem from what I imagined. You'd never know. But he finished his degree, got his master's. Like, so they've had a really solidly strong effect on each other. And from what I understand, he helps. My family's batshit nuts, if you haven't, like, gathered that. And he helps her with that. But, yeah. So I just feel like maybe this person also kind of was like, well, I don't really see relationship working out. And the relationships I see where people are in love, they hurt each other the worst or something here like that. It could be something like that. Yeah. I feel like this person wants to be loyal. They want to believe in like a depth, but they run away from it and they run away from you. So I think this person just, it's like they fantasize about the quiet, simple stuff. Because now all of a sudden it's quiet. You guys probably can't hear it, but it's like there was all of those like lawnmowers and stuff. And now it's just like peaceful and quiet. And you know how some people say that like now in modern times we're all like afraid of the quiet. The quiet scares me because it speaks the truth. Yeah. Okay, that's from a song Sober by Pink. Don't tell me that we had that conversation because I won't remember Save Your Breath, so what's the use? This also could be a guy that, okay, so there's this other guy that I was aware of when I lived in a spiritual community. And one of my friends that I was really close with, she was gorgeous on every possible level. The kind of woman that, as another woman, if whoever gets her really hit the jackpot, like she's great on like a lot of levels. Well, there was this guy that they were both like really interested in her. He was kind of like that fuckboy type. And he would always get really drunk and like tell her how much he loved her. He would just be like, I love you. Like, I never want you to leave, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day he would be back on his like own bullshit. So finally she like ended up leaving. And that was like really, really sad to watch because I think that he really legitimately loved her. He just like could not get out of his own way enough to love her sober, you know? And yeah, again, I'm hearing like, don't tell me that we had that conversation because I won't remember Save Your Breath. So what's the use? But it's like, it'll just leak out when this person's like not sober. I'm hearing the hair of the dog, like looking at this venom. So this person needs to have their ego like eroded, maybe by substance or something like that to feel comfortable. But this person maybe is like like a mush. Maybe you did like get to know this person whenever they were drinking or something. But then they'll just like run away. They want to heal it though. This person feels like they're obsessed and they feel trapped in some type of obsession energy, infatuation, adoration, addiction. Oh, maybe this person's trapped in an addiction. And they're kind of like spying on you, but they kind of feel like they need to keep themselves away from you because they're like a danger. They don't want to stress you out. I think this person, maybe for some of you knows, like she's blocking herself with the umbrella there. So I think maybe for some of you, this person knows that you've like blocked yourself off from them, like with the umbrella. Past life. So this person does not, I think they feel like you've blocked yourself off because you do not want a repeat of like the last cycle. And this person really doesn't either. They have, yeah, they've gotten some like type of perspective, but yeah, this is a sweet fantasy. I feel like we're not even getting into like raunchy stuff. I feel like this person feels like you should be respected. Maybe for some, they didn't feel like they respected you in the past. Like they made it too much about schmegs. And this person's like actively trying not to make it like all about that. They really like you for you, but anything else, like, let's see. They feel like they busted up your ability to see yourself clearly because of the way that they treated you. Because this person thinks that, remember how I was just describing my friend where it's like she's beautiful inside and out. She's really like a great person, an interesting person, like, you know, truly like whoever gets her really hit the jackpot, in my opinion. Truly, truly. And I think this person feels that way about you. And I think they feel that their treatment of you and the way that they behaved and the fact that they have their own like massive issues made it to where you couldn't see yourself clearly. And that you couldn't see your value and that you couldn't see your worth clearly. I think there's maybe a particular conversation that really weighs on this person that it should have gone differently. And they wish that they could have been more vulnerable or that they shouldn't have like been more vulnerable if they couldn't have actually like kind of followed through on that. It's like maybe for some, they had just enough courage. I just heard courage, the cowardly dog, which again, is that dog energy of like the loyalty, but they had just enough courage to tell you, but then like, they couldn't like bring it all the way across the finish line or something. They like, you know, freaked out and like hit again, or they like got elusive, or then they like denied it, or they started an argument, or they walked away, or like whatever it is that they did. And they went on some type of like autopilot. So this person fantasized about healing that situation, starting first with a conversation that they feel like they should have had with you all along, or they should have had a certain way with you all along. And something that would have, because I feel like there's a conversation, there's something that they said. Maybe there was an argument that the two of you had, but it really made you like not understand your worth, or it broke your worth or something like that. And not like that it could actually break your worth, but like this person reflected back at you, and it was just because they were overwhelmed like with their feelings. So their fantasies really start, I feel like this person almost feels like they're not worthy of you, and so their fantasies really center a lot on this initial conversation, which is kind of righting the wrongs of the past, which is like redoing that conversation, having that conversation the right way. They really fantasize about that because they can't really, this person really doesn't feel worthy of you. They don't want to hurt you anymore. You really don't deserve that. This person thinks very highly of you, and they feel like if they can't have that conversation with you, that they don't deserve to have you in a schmegsual way or like in a truly intimate way, a romantic way. They don't deserve that. So there's a lot of focus here on that kind of conversation. Well, I'm in recovery and they are a mess. Yeah, I was traumatized in an undeniable way by the company he kept when we were young. Yeah, we both wish things were different, but like, why waste a second chance the universe gave us? Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think for some, it's more comfortable for this person. It's kind of not though. Like it's becoming maybe not that way for you to think some like negative of them in some kind of way, rather than for you to know how much they loved you and how much they truly like think very highly of you and like how much they really wanted this. There's like a lot of pain here, and there's like huge attempts of running. This person's a runner for sure. They mostly run emotionally from inside themselves, because I actually think that this is a sensitive person. And people have been mentioning like that people are in recovery. Like a lot of addicts, they are actually very sensitive people that have not been kind of initiated into that. Again, maybe we'll read about that a bit in like this book, but it always reminds me of, there's this TED talk that I really like, and it's called Spirituality or Psychosis. And it's this guy, I think he was like an orthodontist by trade or something, but he's also an amateur photographer, and he has like a couple photo books out where he spent his life traveling all over the world to these different indigenous tribes. And he would always he's a portrait photographer, and really good too. But he would always go to these different tribes. And as he was there and, you know, hanging out with these people, he realized that it didn't matter where he was in the world, that they always had this like medicine person or like healer. And that person, that was never just like their only job. They always had like other jobs, and, you know, they were always like very busy people and whatnot, but they all kind of like said the same thing, that that they have these gifts that they didn't really understand. They thought they were going to die. They were extremely overwhelmed by their feeling space, because they would just pick up on things, and they would have an older member of the tribe that had already been through it usher them through that experience. A lot of times they would live with that person for a year, just so that person would like always be around and help them through that experience. And a lot of them say like without that, they would have been totally like lost and led astray. And he was bringing that up because of how we treat these people in the modern world, which is like sometimes we try and, you know, pathologize something that is just like high HSP, highly sensitive person, or, you know, things like that. So this person I think might have been that way. And maybe because in particular they're a man, that high sensitivity, I'm kind of actually getting that with this person, that high sensitivity was always something that they felt like they needed to hide, but it was not very well understood in this person. And it certainly was not seen as a strength at all. So, okay. Well, that was pile number 2. That was a lot lovelier than pile number 1. So, hold on. Give it just a second here, because okay. Okay, there we go. I'm having a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue, I think, but it should be up there now or shortly. Yep, and his ego. Okay, nice. So, compassion, this pile. This person really does need a lot of compassion. They are meant to be a leader, just so you know. They're meant to be a leader in like masculine, probably spirituality, emotionality. Lord knows this world needs it. Okay, we'll just have a moment here. If you're just joining us, you've joined us at a great time, because we just finished pile number 2, which is the venom, and we are moving on to pile number 3, which is the creator. Everybody's quoting Defying Gravity in the comment section. If you're watching this later and you're not viewing the comments, I'm just letting you know that might be relevant. All of a sudden, it's like very peaceful. It was so loud. It felt like everybody and their mom was like, okay, 10 a.m. on Friday, let's all mow our lawns the same exact time. Just joined. Welcome. Jess, he is both pile 1 and pile 2. Interesting. How very interesting. Pile 3, don't embarrass me. Yo. Okay, so if you need another couple seconds here with this. Oh, by the way, while I'm thinking about this, because it's just me, I super hate to look at my face and hear my voice. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to get the timestamps up for you guys, because I will try to do it. But if you are watching it later, if you just happen to see this and you grab your timestamp, if you wouldn't mind like saying, oh, pile 3 starts at like whatever, pile 2, or if you're able to do that, that would be such a help. Thank you so much. Okay, so, oh, my Wi-Fi. Oh, there it goes. Okay, pile number 3. There we go. Okay, Spirit, for pile number 3. Interesting. Okay, who is this person and what are their fantasies about pile number 3? Okay, this person might be funny. I just heard bust out the lube. This person's like, woo, here we go. This person I think might be used to being misunderstood, or they're okay, like kind of being misunderstood. They've got a Mercury energy here. I'm kind of, for some reason, I'm picturing Jeff Goldblum in my head. He's Mercury dominant. He like wears a lot of rings and, you know, like plays a lot of like musical instruments or something. Like this person is maybe like fun, or they're just a blast in a glass kind of a thing. They might be maybe like a paint and sip, but this is a person. Oh my gosh, this is like a fun person and a funny person. And I feel like they have this sort of like they are the chaos in a bottle kind of a thing, but in a harmless kind of way. This person I think is very socially acceptable. And I also feel like this is somebody who is used to hanging out with women in a genuine way. Like I think they have some type of talent or some type of artistic capability here. This person feels very fluid in their energy. They feel very confident, like in conversation. They feel like they believe that women are people. And I feel like this is the kind of person where if you invite them to like a paint and sip, for some reason that keeps coming through, like paint by numbers. This person is cracking me up because, you know, in Titanic where it's like, paint me like I'm one of your French girls, but I'm seeing like a paint by numbers and it's like, hey, well, I'll try, like, you know, and it's like, okay, so number 43, we got to go with the light blue. Like, you know, this person is like really, really funny. This person's kind of showing me that even when they don't feel like so confident, they have this kind of confidence in themselves where it's maybe this person's saying like, whatever you want. You know, like whatever you want, like I'm fine kind of like going there. I'm going to genuinely do my best. And even like they're comfortable in the awkward stage. This person's kind of comfortable for things to like be awkward. This is somebody who I think they've genuinely mastered something here. I think they've mastered, I think, being social, but they've also mastered some level of craft or some level of skill. And they know that process inside and out. So they're okay, like kind of, I don't know, flopping on their face or whatever. But this person, I'm just seeing them like be able to kind of hold a conversation with a lot of different people. But anyways, going back to, misconstrue. I feel like this person worries that maybe you misconstrue this aspect to their personality as being flirty, because it's not. This is a person who is genuinely, I mean, maybe it is like a bit flirty, but it's like, it's not seriously flirty. Like they're not seriously interested in like all of the people that they kind of talk to like this. They like making people smile. They like bringing this sort of like pop to the room. They like, and I feel like this person is maybe actually, even though they're very comfortable. Okay. So, I feel like this person has been focused elsewhere, actually, rather than their love life or their schmegual life. They're not underconfident at all, but they have been focused on, I think, a skill whatever it is, it brings them a lot of happiness and it brings them a lot of joy. It's not like what a slog, you know, like I have to focus on this. This person genuinely, I think, likes to learn. This is a curious person. And there was just a study that came out that said, it says that curiosity is really kind of the secret to longevity in relationships. Like you just are kind of constantly curious about your person, and instead of like blocking down and thinking that you know everything about them. And I feel like that's almost like this person's promise to you is like, I will always find you curious. I will always find you interesting. Maybe that's what they're attracted to in you, is that they find you curious, or they kind of, I think this person's afraid that you think that they're like a flirt, or you think that they're like interested in all these people when they're really, really friendly. There's an innocence that comes across with this. They genuinely like people. They genuinely like people. And this person's used to being misunderstood. And I think there are certain things, because of this Mercury nature to this person, they might speak really fast, or when they get into I feel like this person's actually capable of both, like very deep focus and a very introverted side. There's something that this person does. I keep seeing them painting. I don't know if this person's like a painter or it's something creative. It's something artistic. If it's not painting or artistic, it's something that has that level of creativity to it that this person feels, again, I'm hearing that misunderstood energy. They feel like I just heard thank you. And like for explaining this, it's that whatever it is that they do, they have the same level of creativity that if they just told you what they do for like a living or what it is that they like to focus on, you wouldn't think creative. You wouldn't think, oh, that's like a creative outlet for this person. But if I tell you, I keep seeing this person painting, then you would think it's some type of creative outlet, but it's on that level. And so even if it's not painting or drawing or, maybe music or something like that, it's whatever they do, it has that level of like creativity. And I'm hearing thank you again. This person, they're rubbing my shoulders and it's sweet though. It's like, it's not creepy. It's not weird. Like this person's just like, thanks for saying that. Like, cause for some reason, I think this person just, this energy in them gets like weirdly like twisted all around and like misconstrued. But I think this person's like somewhat like sort of elevated. They do like this kind of social quality, but they kind of keep themselves pulled back because of this like level of misunderstanding. I think this person also recognizes that there are a lot of people that want a piece of them, but they recognize also that they want a piece of them for the wrong reasons and that they get intrigued, but it's like they get intrigued because this person's like a bright light and they're interesting. And like, but this person's like, I have a strong idea in my mind of what I want in a partner, and I'll know it when I see it. And I feel like they've seen it in you. Or they're not sure if they've seen it in you, but like because I'm seeing it kind of like pulled back behind a wall. This person, I think it would be hard to tell if they're like truly interested in you romantically. And this person gets super annoyed when people think that they're interested in them romantically, because it's a lot of times the people that this person is very nice. They're very sweet and they're very kind. And I don't think that they would ever change their personality. I think they understand that sometimes like when they flirt with the little old lady down the street or something, like that adds like a bright spot to their day. I remember my mom one time, I went with her to like take your daughter to work day, and she was like hitting on this guy that was giving a presentation and he had a wedding ring on, and you guys know me and I've always been this way, but I was like worse, if you can believe it, like where I was like, can you like not hit on people who are married? Like it's really embarrassing to me. Like, and my mom was like, oh, I'm not going to act on it. Plus it made his day. And like just kind of like walked away. I mean, and now I can kind of see that perspective as well. Like she genuinely was not going to act on it. And like he did get all like blushy and everything, and they probably never saw each other again. And my mom's a lot of things, but she very much like has that aspect to her where it's like, oh, like we're all just having fun here. But I think this person's sort of used to like kind of fending people off. They don't like to kind of fend people off in a certain way, like offend people, but I think this person will, if they have to. Like if somebody's really pushing a little too much, this person I think has learned that that there's people that just won't take a hint. This is a person who's very sensitive socially. Like they pick up on skills. That's why they're so likable. That's why they have a lot of friends. But there are certain people who will not pick up on, they will not take a motherfucking hint. And so this person's kind of been around that. Now, where it comes with you, I'm kind of seeing like their feelings for you kind of like hidden behind a wall, because I feel like this person's observing you and they're not really sure what they think about you, but there's, gave up on it, but honey, you got my hopes up, from Sam Hunt. Kinfolks. I want to introduce you to my kinfolks. So this person may actually feel like, I think they feel like your soul fam. Like, I think I've identified a person that really, I feel like this person is a lot of people's person. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even mean that they're like attracted to this person. I think this person, though, because this really comes from a refinement. I cannot stress this enough. This is a great person. They are pro-social. They are extremely considerate. They are empathetic. They're tuned in with what makes people feel uncomfortable. I think, unfortunately for them, that's not always returned. So I think what I mean is people will make them feel uncomfortable. People will cross boundaries with them. People will not be the copper pot energy towards them when they can sort of see this person's like subtle changes and that they maybe have crossed the line or they've maybe read too much into something. I think that this person has kind of like struggled with that. But in you, they actually, I think, feel that they have found somebody that they're not sure. Exactly. They're not sure. This is like very much not a creepy or weird person. I really, really like this energy. Invite me to the wedding. Sincerely. It'll be a good time. I guarantee it will be a good time. We'll have sponge cake. We'll have like this person. I really like this person. Okay. Just saying. But so they kind of like, I'm seeing you behind this, like, I'm seeing a wall of like sheetrock, but I'm seeing this person paint like interesting things on like walls. So it's like, it's not really filled in yet. They're not sure, but they're observing you and they really like what it is that they see. And they feel like you might just fit in with them. And maybe in particular, their family, like there's something about you that would fit in with their family. Like their family, like for better and for worse, because I think they feel like there's something about you that is a quality that they maybe like and appreciate in their family. And you would, whatever defense mechanisms that this person has built up to navigate that, they feel like you have, and you'll be able to hold your own. And also that you'll be like well received and like well liked. But also if they have issues with their family, that something about you is capable of handling yourself in that situation. They really like that. So let me see about this person's fantasies. This person I do see as being, they're wrapped up in something that they like to put their attention on. And I'm not getting that this person like is super like fantasizing a lot, because they're still trying to kind of figure you out in some kind of way. This person, I think, has a lot of options and they know it, but they're not interested in majority of those options as romantic options. And I actually do think that this person, if you knew this person, if you really knew this person, I think it's pretty fucking clear that this person is actually not, I'm kind of getting, this person does have a nobility to them, because I'm getting from Emma, Mr. Knightley, when Emma like starts getting heartbroken, maybe this happened in this situation. You know, she gets her little nosebleed. Okay, let me slow down. I feel like this person, it's like, let me slow down. This person's mind moves very quickly. Not everybody can keep up. And this person's used to bridging the gap. They're really good at that. It's so pro-social. Like I'm saying, if you really knew this person from the inside out, you would know how much they're trying at all times to make other people feel comfortable and welcomed, and they're how aware they like really and truly are. But there's this Mr. Knightley quality in this person where I feel like it is actually like very noble. They have a very noble kind of soul and very noble spirit. Mr. Knightley also was like single for a long period of time. And like at one point in the story, Emma, he says, this one obnoxious lady, this person probably deals with obnoxious people pretty well and like is able to help the group still include an obnoxious person, you know, like where we're not going to completely shun them. But because this person is like in the group, they deftly sort of handle it. But anyways, this obnoxious lady is like inviting herself over to his house, but he is very much not vain, very much not prideful. This person might well have money, but they're like not vain. They're not like prideful, because his picture galleries, they're all shut up. And Emma tries to explain that like, oh, well, you know, you can't really explore his house because it's like shut up. But he's like, I will, you know, I'll open it up for you. And she tries to take control of the party and invite a bunch of people, but there's a masculinity to this person. Even if this is a woman, there's a strong, healthy masculinity to this person that is just able to say no. And he even laughs it off. He's like, I hope you will bring Elton, which is her husband, but I won't trouble you for bringing any other guests. And she's like, well, married women, you know, can be authorized. They can be trusted. And he's like, there's but one married woman in all the world that I would ever trust to invite whoever she wants to my house. And everybody was like, who is that? You know? And he goes, Mrs. Knightley. Until she is in being, I will handle such matters on my own. Like this person, I think really is a romantic. This person also, I got to tell you this, the space next to this person, it is nice. Okay. There is not a mess. There is not a drama. If there is, it will be handled very nobly, very deftly, probably very socially, in a very social, capable kind of way. But if a line needs to be called, it will be called. Probably they'll get out ahead of it before you even like realize this is a great motherfucking person. This is just chef's kiss when you made this person. Okay. But they sort of like kind of keep this kind of like back in and of themselves. There's a real nobility to this person, and they really do want somebody that is going to kind of like fit in. But getting back to, I think maybe there has been some confusion. This person's like really explaining a lot about the people they're attracted to and the people that they're not, and how they get misconstrued a lot, and how people just don't want to really like take a hint, and how that really grinds this person's gears. It actually really bothers them. And that's something that they actually look for. I feel like maybe for some of you, you kind of took a step back, and this person really liked that. You know, like you were kind of like, well, maybe this person's just being friendly. The fact that you thought that about this person and you really took it seriously, this person really likes that. This person, I think, prefers that. They want to take that step towards you, kind of a thing. Yeah. And, but also, okay, because there's this big, if you've ever seen Emma, if you don't want a spoiler alert, I don't know what to tell you. So there's this big kerfuffle around everybody liking Mr. Knightley at one point, because Emma has this little friend, Harriet, and she's tried to convince Harriet that she should, you know, try to marry above her station. And so she convinces Harriet to refuse a marriage proposal from the guy that Harriet clearly really likes and really wants to be with. And she ends up regretting that because then Harriet starts to fall for Mr. Knightley, because Mr. Knightley is so nice to Harriet when she's kind of being bullied by some of the other men. And he steps in and he says to Emma, well, that guy over there, he meant to wound more than just little Harriet over here. He meant to wound you. He's very protective, but in a social sort of way where he's just able to sort of see that and he'll step in, but you could never really call him out on it, because it's like, well, I was just doing the appropriate thing, Why weren't you doing it? To call this person out would be to call yourself out, for like inappropriate behavior, If this person opposes you, it's because you were kind of like doing the wrong thing. But anyways, I feel like there was this kind of like, there's this big moment where Mr. Knightley goes to confess his feelings to Emma. Emma can't break Harriet's heart again. And he doesn't understand why he's being kind of like rejected. So it could be this like weird dance between the two of you. And then they have to kind of like fix all of the confusion, that's like playing out there. So I feel like there's maybe some confusion about who this person really likes and who they don't. And the fact of the matter is this person has a deep love and appreciation for most people on a human level. Like this person genuinely is delighted with like most people and certain aspects of their personality. The people that this person is interested in sexually, it's like very few people. This person very rarely gets a crush on people. They very rarely get impressed by people. They very rarely get taken by people. I feel like this person maybe feels like they need to settle. They could have gone through a phase like that where it's like, I might never be like super impressed with people. Or they have maybe decided that they want to be alone for like a while because they'd rather not. I think this person genuinely does have a side to them. Most people will meet this person in a social setting first and they'll think this person's an extrovert. And I don't think they are. I think they're either an introvert, meaning that they recharge as they're like introverted, or they're like an extrovert. And I know this is about their fantasies, but I have to say, I feel this person, maybe we'll ask like what they want, but this person has been, people take liberties with this person sexually. They fancy that this person fancies them, and this person does not like that. And so I think this person's very respectful in regards of that. They assume there could even be something here where they're like, maybe you're kind of like this person where, again, you're very friendly. This person assumes that other people are interested in you and they don't want to assume that you're interested in them back as like more than a friend. This is somebody who genuinely feels like, why can't we all get along? Why can't we all just like each other in like a fun way, like a really genuinely like extreme way, and like not have to think? I think this person, they're probably excellent to lead like gender relations. They probably really are. But I think what they're working with is pretty sad, because I think that like people, when they're shown like an ounce of kindness or something, I think this person like understands that, but this person doesn't want to put you in the same boat or the same position. And I think this person has been made to feel uncomfortable by multiple people who just take their kindness or their great personality, their nobility. I think this person's a catch, to be honest. I really do. And I think that they they don't like that and they don't want to do that to you. But what do they fantasize about? Okay, King of Cups, Ace of Wands. I think they do fantasize about finally being taken with somebody. Like actually being like, oh, I think I do have a crush on this person. I think this person likes me. Okay, so they fantasize about realizing that wait, you like them and they do like you, and that you are kind of everything that they're hoping that you could be. But yeah, I'm hearing it again. Gave up on it, but honey, you got my hopes up. There's this person. I think, okay, this is a funny person. They have like kind of a duality. They're so free and they're so open. But then I think when this person's just being themselves, people kind of, I don't know, they are belligerent, or they are just, because this person's so loving and they're so social and they're so acceptable, this is the kind of person who is gonna, their version of like a duck and roll if you kind of trip. Like, so if you put your foot in your mouth and another person would allow that to hang in the balance, this person's gonna bail you out kind of socially. So if you say something that even is like maybe very sexual towards them and they don't feel the same way about you, they're not going to leave you hanging and let you feel awkward in a social situation. They're going to wrap that into a kind of joke. So unfortunately, a lot of people will not get the hint that this person doesn't like them because this person has cared for them and protected them in a social situation. It's very, Harriet feels this way towards Mr. Knightley. She misreads all of his signals where she's like, he spoke to me about farming and he spoke to me about his and he was, when Emma is explaining to this and he's like, oh, Emma says, this is kind of what I was trying to work up to, because Emma says she like gets kind of like heartbroken, and maybe you've been heartbroken about this person because somebody is like, I think they like me, and I don't think so. If so, I mean, this person kind of always feels like they have to settle. So, but like when Harriet is saying, because Emma says, well, has he given you reason to think that that he likes you? And she says, yes, he did this, he did this. And she says, well, if you believe that he likes you, I know Mr. Knightley to be the last man on earth who would give any woman any inclination of his feeling more for her than he does. So if you feel he loves you, then he loves you. And so then when he's confessing his feelings and he's like, oh, like, you know, she's explaining to him why Harriet thinks he's in love with her. And he's like, oh, like he's getting it and he's clicking. Oh, I can see how that was. And he's like, to Robert Martin, you know, he's like, I was trying to set them up, you know? And, so then they have to kind of like figure that out. So I feel like this person does, like, it's weird because, okay, I didn't finish that thought. So now I feel like this person might be a little bit like this. Their mind is like always kind of going, but, they have this side to them, right? Like, I think that they have some type of karmas in a romantic space, but also this person is like very friendly, but I think at times love might not be as fun for this person as you think it would be, because I think that you feel that a lot of people are interested in this person. I don't think it's near as fun as you. I think they're used to being the authority. I think that because this person is so desperately trying to salvage friendships with people, actually, they want friends. They want like a lot of friends, and they want it to be lively and fun. They want to encourage people. They want to, like, you know, and people will just get the wrong idea. And so I think this person will try to salvage it enough times. And it's like, you've got to catch on to the fact that I'm not pursuing. I feel like this is a person who is like, if I liked you, you'd fucking know. Like, if I liked you, I would make a move on you. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not underconfident. I can read that you like me as well. So you'd have to catch me at a real low moment, or you'd have to, like, this person would have to sort of be like taken advantage of. But I think they're used to having to turn on that like Saturnian energy where they have to go like very cold and detached. And I think it's the people that they're dealing with's fault, if I'm being completely honest with you. Because this person, I think, gives more than one try where they sort of try to subtly loft it to people because they're trying to care for their ego. They're trying not to like let the ego drop. But I think this person, maybe that's their karmas, is they've had to learn like certain people you have to like go very cold. You have to like detach. I think you've hung with this person, like in regards of like this kind of reading social cues, being very considerate, not being overly egotistical, assuming that this person must have a crush on you because they were nice to you 1 time, 4 times, 10 times, as many times as you come into contact with this person. If you are not being weird towards them, that's as many times as they've been nice to you back, and extremely nice. So yeah, I think this person also, they've been hurt in the past. They've been betrayed, but it's been in the realm of friendship. And this is an empress. Even if this is a man, this is an empress. And this person does have if this is a man, it's very Ryan Gosling. You know, it's very like creative, but, you know, girl dad, raised around sisters, in the Barbie movie, doesn't feel that, you know, knocks his masculinity in any kind of way. You know, is like very fun to be around, like also hangs with the men as well. Like, it's very much that kind of energy. And I feel like this person has been betrayed in the past. They really have their guard up. But I think they like that, I think this person has, part of their karmas is they've learned that you have to be with people who are not insecure. And it's not because, isn't it sad that those people are insecure? Because I think this person has changed. This is what's so sad. I feel like they've gotten betrayed and hurt in friendship by recognizing that certain people were insecure, and by trying to breathe life into them, and by trying to be genuinely there for them. And I think that these people have really crossed boundaries with your person. And I think they've learned the hard way karmically. You cannot have those, you need to go cold and detached around those kinds of people, because if somebody's insecure and they're not noble and they're not courageous, like inside of themselves, and they don't have that strong sense of self, you're putting yourself and the people that you love really at risk. Because when you think about the most dangerous snake in the world, it's the one that's scared. It's the one that has like deadly capability, which human beings are the most, you know, deadly thing on the earth. And it's just scared, and it's like all out of control. And so it doesn't matter that you've had 15 interactions with an insecure person where you have given them positive energy, because usually they're depressed because nobody wants to be around them because they're a sad sack and they're not very good socially. This person's like, oh, I'm good enough socially for both of us. I'll bring you into the middle, because that's the kind of world I want to live in. I don't want to live in a world where people are like excluded. But I think this person had to learn the hard way that they cannot do the work for other people, because you'll just regret it. It doesn't matter if 15 times you showed up and out for that person who sucks. The one time that you have your guard, they don't have restraint. They don't have, like, you know, they're too eager. I feel like there's people that are too eager around your person. And I feel like you've handled yourself in a certain way. And this person really likes it. and you've not disrespected them. You've not tramped over their boundaries. I think when this person, like when people like this person, I think they really go in for it. I think, and it's really shocking actually. So this person does have secret feelings for you, and maybe that's news to you, but they're just really poised. Yeah, they really fantasize about having like a little family, but it's like away from, I kind of think that, again, they love the people that they sort of interact with, but there's certain people, it's not everybody in the group, but there'll be a few that are work for your person to socially be around, but your person's going to do that because that's the kind of world that they want to live in. So they just want there to be this like happiness. Like this person, I don't know where this person lives, but I feel like their home is where they feel free. And it's where they feel like kind of safe and protected, where it's all about them. Because this person, if you tried to ascertain what this person truly likes, I think this person does like a lot of different things. Like they find the good in things and they find the good in people. So they'll connect with you on that, even though like they might not want to spend their afternoon. If they had it to just like choose for themselves, they might not want to spend their afternoon doing the thing that Bill from their group wanted to do, but they'll do it because they like Bill. They want Bill to feel happy. And not everything about the thing that they wanted to do is terrible, but like it's hard to figure out what this person truly likes. And I think you need an intimate one-on-one relationship with this person in order to truly do that. And I think this person is interested in, I actually feel that that's missing in this person's life, that reciprocal like energy people always want from this person. It's like, entertain me, bring me into the social group, make me look cooler than I am. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth a few times. I need you to save me from that. And I also need you to not take any credit for it or something. I think this person sort of does that for people. But I think they feel like you might not require them to be on duty. And I think they feel that this person is way more stressed out than you think. Way more stressed out socially. It's a job. Like this person's kind of like, I'm getting a German Shepherd. Like this person likes to have a job and they're very loyal and they're very like keen with their senses and everything. But yeah, this person kind of rarely meets somebody who could like rise up and meet them. And it's kind of the heartbreak of their life, really. Like this person's really sad. Maybe for some of you, you were involved with someone else, like around this person, and it kind of did crush their dreams, but it would crush their dreams in a way that you didn't know. You didn't know, but again, they were never fully invested. Like, gave up on it, but honey, you got my hopes up. Like, that's really it. It's like, it was just kind of hopes, and I don't know, but you probably didn't know this person liked you, and this is a rare bird. Okay, so let's see about their fantasies. This person, I mean, they sort of fantasize about being alone, being happy, being content, being able to do whatever they like to do in their space. They really are protective of their home space. It's not that they'll never let anybody in there, but they like to be alone in their home space. They, I think, are fantasizing about something that they like to do for their career or something that they like to do like very creatively. This person really enjoys peace a lot. Like they really enjoy peace. And they are actually kind of thinking about breaking free. I think that this person, this is so sad to me. And I don't think that when you think of this person, you think of them as being sad, but they are so heartbroken. This person is extremely heartbroken. I think, and it has to do with the group of people that they're around. And, it's like there's a lot of people around this person and a lot of people have love for your person, but very few people actually view this person as a human being. They view them as, I don't know, but I think this person, like they do a lot socially and it's sophisticated. Like what this person does is actually sophisticated, but it's seen as like more natural than it actually is. And I'm not saying that it's fake. Like I think this is so genuine. Like it really is reflective of your person's heart, the way that they are, but they have that Saturnian energy where they're always kind of, it's considerate. They're very socially considerate, like of other people. It is a lot more work than it looks for your person. And it is more reflective of their heart and more reflective of their values than you could ever know. The way that this person like interacts with people. And they kind of fantasize about getting away from that actually. And kind of going more independent and like just taking charge of their life and manifesting. I mean, this person, like, I don't know that they use that word, but this person has a lot of good karmas that are waiting for them. They've really done a lot for people, and people don't even know how much this person has really done for them. This person is very beloved by spirit, and because of they're a workhorse. I feel like to look at this person, you think that they must be like frolicking in a field or something, and that their whole life must be play. Or no, this person is like, they're working. I'm seeing this person, maybe they're muscly as well. Maybe you notice that, but I'm seeing this person has a lot of strength. Like, but it's minor muscle movements. Like, cause they look kind of like they're holding themselves just very casually, but they're straining their muscles like just so. Like, it's very much like that. And so this person kind of fantasizes about singing their own song and being loved for that, because this person will hear your song. This person is very, very good at hearing your song and loving you for that, accepting you for that, seeing the good in that, even if it's not their personal preference or taste. But I think this person maybe sees that in you. They want to like set their own song up. This King of Wands keeps coming out. I think they fantasize about somebody that is fun, knows who they are, is very interesting, has their own thing going on. This person fantasizes about somebody seeing the uniqueness in them, but I mean something they want to be loved for something not like heinous, okay, but they want to be loved for something that like doesn't fit the mold about them. Something that, you know, we're all supposed to be this, or we're all supposed to be that, or we're all supposed to be this. Like, this person wants somebody who can see their difference and who loves that. Who is like, the thing I love about you. It's like an odd compliment. The thing I love about you. And like, is somebody who is able to, because I think, you know, people, this person, I'm seeing a bright sun. This person's so bright and sunny. You can't really like look directly at the sun, you know, and you certainly can't see what's at its core. But if somebody was able to see this person's core, that would be their person. And they sort of fantasize about that. Somebody who is similar. And I think that's actually the key. I think the key is that you can't see this person's core. You'd have to be it yourself. You'd have to be your own sun. And that's how you would know what the core is. And it's sort of a big test. This is a bit, I know this is a man that we're talking about for most of you probably. Maybe this is a woman for some of you. This is a bit the princess that is locked in the tower, but like slaying the dragon. Like, it's because there's this, or it's like you could think of it as, I don't know, kind of like Rumpelstiltskin. It's like you have to know the password, but there's only one way, and it's like a high bar. It seems like, oh, there's just one thing to really like kind of get towards this person. And that's what this person's sort of annoyed, because like this is extremely uncommon energy, and they're really they're not as accessible actually as people think that they are. They're really not. Like internally, they're really, really not. There's a particular thing that they sort of need. Okay, so what does this person fantasize about? I sort of love this person. This person fantasizes about confusing the fuck out of people when it comes to like the person that they actually chose, because I think they view that as being an extremely clarifying moment for a lot of people. Like, because I just get that people have bum rushed upon this person in a way that they really super do not appreciate. They've taken liberties with this person. They've assumed a lot about this person. And I feel like if there's one type of person that would be extremely unlikable to this person, it would be that kind of person, because this is such a copper pot, and that's what they give to people. And they, for you to be such a blunt instrument in return, this person is extremely turned off by that. Extremely. So I feel like they want like their person. They want somebody that's kind of like them, like that. And I think people try to get this person's attention maybe like in certain ways, and this person knows it, and they kind of dismiss them in a very graceful, tactful sort of way. And, but the person they pop out with, they want to be like, that confused you, didn't it? It confused you. It shouldn't have, but it did, you know? And like, yeah. This person feels in danger a lot. They feel in danger a lot, like from their friends, people who don't have a pure heart, because they're so friendly and they want to be. This person like wants to be friendly, but like they feel genuinely in danger by people. because they have this sweetness. And I think this person's had to learn how to be more tough, but their toughness is that Saturnian energy where this person will go cold. And then the most toxic of people will be like, that person is avoidant. And this person, like, to you, yes. But like to other people, they're still like extremely accessible. They really want to cut ties with being sad. This is like a sad boy or a sad girl. They're really sad. You'd never know. They're extremely sad and you would never know it. They're so lonely because they're kind of like a unicorn. This person's sort of like a unicorn, energetically. This person also, I think, maybe sometimes pretends to be worse at things than they are to make people feel included or to not intimidate people. Or because they don't want all the attention on them. They're so pro-social. This person's like almost insanely pro-social. It's hard for people to like imagine, I think, how genuinely like caring this person really is and like not competitive. This is somebody who also like kind of, they naturally stand out, but they don't stand out because Mars. They don't stand out because they're competing with everybody. They stand out because of Venus and Mercury. This is intellect. This is creativity. This is, I really super love this person. I really do. I'm probably their soulmate. Find me, even if I'm their friend. They like you, but like, even if I'm their friend, find me. I can see you. I can see you. They would love that. They would sincerely love that. Yeah, they'd be like, what? Ollie, Ollie, oxen free. Marco, Polo, Marco. They would be extremely distrustful of me, I think, at first, because they'd be like, how the fuck did you get in here? Like, this is also a person who's extremely discerning. I think it's hard for people to understand this person's duality, that they're simultaneously so open, so loving, but they're also extremely discerning. But it has to do with, you'll notice that this person's very giving in their energy. But when it comes to what will you be doing for me? Are you going to be my friend? Are you going to be my best friend? Are you going to be my lover? What are you going to be doing for me? Including in the bedroom. What are you going to be doing for me? And am I going to be selecting? This person's very, very discerning. Very discerning. But you'll notice when it comes to like giving to other people, this person's extremely giving. This person's extremely chosen too, like by other people. It's like, oh yeah, I'd want this person to be at my bedside. Like if I had something going wrong, this person's my emergency contact. This person is like the person I would call up. Like, you know, this person is chosen in that regard and they love that and they live up to that. But you'll notice when it comes to the people that they trust to do things for them, they're very discerning and they have their own kind of rubric as well. And it's very close to their chest, but I think it really comes down to, just people who are genuine. Like people who are really genuine. I think this person's been able to kind of suss that out for themselves. Or maybe they're not even very good at it, but it's like if somebody does pop up on their radar as being actually very genuine and not being super full of themselves, not being entitled. This person super hates entitlement. But it's like social kind of entitlement. Like I'm entitled to your time because I like you. I'm entitled to your time and your energy and you must like me as well. And this person's like, what a dumb thing to think and what a dumb thing to operate on. And I actually feel overwhelmed. Like, I think there's certain kinds of personalities too, that this person is like, most people, this person handles just fine, but there are certain kinds of personalities this person gets like really, really fucking overwhelmed with. And it's, I think that kind of like overzealous, entitled energy. Okay. Jess is the only person who really gets me to BH. Tell them about the loneliness. Yeah, like this person is extremely lonely, but like you wouldn't know. Like you really would not know because I think this person has a lot of friends and they're always in demand. But I think it hurts them at a certain point. So yeah, that's this person. Sorry this wasn't super juicy in regards to their fantasies. I think they actually have very sweet fantasies because I was seeing the 10 of Cups, but it's like having like a little family, but that's like just for them, you know? I think this person would be very protective of their family, like socially protective because this person, I don't know, they know more about people than they let on pretty much most of the time. And there are certain people that like, I think if this person did have a family, I think that's another thing that people would see switch in this person because whereas this person's like, sure, come over, like be at the barbecue. Now all of a sudden this person's going to get very discerning because it's like, until this kid can handle his own, you're going to know what this person really, I think maybe for this person having children is going to be an extremely telling event for a lot of the people in their life, you know? And for some, they might even know, like, I don't know. I'm thinking about like, I like to watch Dropout TV. There's Grant is one of the characters on there. He's this like very, like extroverted gay man, but he's like, there's nothing, he's like very shock factor, but it's like he's very self-aware in the sense that he would know like probably not getting invited to a kid's birthday kind of a thing, but he's like harmless and he's like, like a pleasant person to kind of, be around. But, so certain people are going to be self-aware, but there's other people who are going to be like, where you would kind of judge like, this is probably overwhelming for this child or something here like that, Okay. Actually, I'm getting like this person would probably not even have a problem with that Grant type of personality. Yeah. But there'd be other people where they're like, my kid's going to need to be able to handle being around you. Because I don't want your energy that pushes into people pushing into my kid. I think that like this person would be very aware. Okay, what would they fantasize about though if they were fantasizing about you? I love this person. This person kind of doesn't care where you start, like with them. Because for some of you, like maybe, I don't know, maybe like money's an issue or something. But this person is like, they're very elevated on some type of soul level in regards of this. They're going to sit here. They're going to keep calm. They're going to watch you approach a crossroads. This person is also more than happy, I think, to let God himself or herself weed them out. My dad always used to say, kid, let them disqualify themselves. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this person. Like, I feel like they want to separate the wheat from the chaff. They really do. This person sort of knows. They sort of know that people are after them for the wrong reasons. They sort of know. It's genuinely who they are, so they can't change it. Like, it's genuinely who this person is. And they're like, it's going to draw in the wrong people. But how do I draw in the right people? I think they're going to sit back and observe while you navigate a crossroads here. And maybe there's a spiritual component to this. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely feels like that. They just want to, but they're going to watch. This person, I think people think, oh, this person's just like, la, 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 la. They are watching. This person is taking in more information than you realize at any given time. If you think that you've gotten something over on this person, I would never bet on it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I would literally never, ever put money on it. This person is well connected. So if they didn't find you, there are people who love this person. And the fact, the possibility you get something over everybody that loves this person and that somebody wouldn't like go tell this person is slim. But if this person's extremely socially aware, they're maybe intuitive, energetic, like this person, they really watch and observe as people hit certain crossroads here. And every time I kind of go into like, well, what would this person fantasize about? I mean, I think it's like really sweet stuff. They fantasize about having it all, really. They fantasize about like having fun. They fantasize about, I think they fantasize about marriage and a family, but they only want it if it's going to be a certain way. So, okay. I play dumb really well and I play the long game. That is exactly the energy that I'm picking up on here. This is a lovely person. I just want to see like advice for this person. I'm not going to help you get around their barrier because I would never. But just be aware of devil energy in your path. Just be aware of it because this person, it's happening for a reason. I feel spirit works with this person. I just feel like it happens in tandem. I feel like this is truly the person. This is the princess in the tower, even if this is a guy that everybody wants to get at. So be aware of devil energy, like inside of yourself. Just be aware because it's not going to happen in silence. You falling prey to any kind of devil energy in or around you, it will not happen in silence. It will not happen under the veil of darkness. This person will know about it. This person will find out. That's the entire point. If you had some type of devil energy thrown into your path around this person, just know you were being vetted. Not necessarily by this person, even by like God. I don't even necessarily feel it's their spirit team. I think this person is just very spiritually protected because they have learned a lot of lessons in regards of love and romance. And they still have the karmas, but the karma that they're learning is that you really cannot give everybody a chance out here. So if you got wrapped up with this person, maybe you have to be really honest with yourself. Were you one of those people that was like extremely insecure? This person like loved you. They really, when you really think about it, you might have to stretch your social emotional intelligence to kind of catch up with this person, but was this person protecting you? Was this person protecting your pride? in a social situation where you really put your foot in your mouth, where maybe even when you were hitting on them and you're like, we would make such cute kids together. And this person was like, but like really they're like, what the fuck? Like, like we're friends. Try not to cross that boundary with me. Like, it's not like the fact that you put it in everyone's mind that we're sleeping together is really not cool. It's not something I'd ever do for you. It's like very violating, but like really think back. Like, so maybe for some of you, you were that like insecure person and this person loved you as a friend and they really genuinely loved you as a friend and they don't feel like they should have to love you any less as a friend because you have the hots for them. And they feel like you should be able to handle that moment. It'll be a crossroads moment and then you should get over it, be their friend and have a happy life with them, and they can be at your wedding and you can be at their wedding. Like that's kind of who this person is. Yeah. And, but for those of you where you are actually kind of socially intelligent and you had like a devil energy thrown in your path, just know you're being actually vetted. You're being considered. And some of you maybe need that boost. So, all right. I have 0 friends now and I don't think I'll find anytime soon. I feel God tests everyone I meet and they always fail. It very much happened. Yeah. Okay. This is great. I love this person. If this person's interested in you, again, like the only thing you have to do is like live up to your own potential as a person. And I think it'll just naturally happen. Like I said, this person's confident. This person, if they want to approach you, they'll approach you. If they want you to know that they like you, you'll know that they like you. It's not going to be confusing for you. You're not going to be like, well, this person's like really nice or you'll know at some point, like this person will make sure that you know that they like you as more than a friend because they expect to have to do that. This is a person that is not socially stupid. This person expects to have to let somebody know that they like them because of their personality. They will do that if they like you. So, okay. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I doubt you'll meet another person like this. I really do. Okay. I show up for people in transition or crossroads, and I always have to let them go be happy and grow. Yeah, that was beautiful. I'm glad that we ended on that energy. Okay, so have we decided so let's compassion really quick. But have we decided, are we going to read the book a little bit here or should we do like a general message? I think we should read the book personally and then maybe like, and so let me tell you a little bit about this book. So it's The King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. Rediscovering the Archetypes of the Mature Masculine by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette, or Gillette, the best a man can get. Sorry, I have no idea if that's like related to the razor brand. I hate that my brain is where advertisements go to die. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be more aware of that because my husband is like, you are constantly advertising to me, and a lot of these brands don't even exist anymore. So, okay, should we? What's the book? Okay, yeah. So King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. It is based on Jungian archetypes, and they kind of get like cut to the quick. Okay, so let me summarize the introduction for you because I don't want to read the introduction because the introduction for me, I'm not gonna lie, it did get a little bit like hairy because they started talking about like people struggling with like gender identity and things, and but then I kind of realized what they were talking about. Which is like people just, they should have, in my opinion, just said like people struggling with identity in general. But I get what they were saying because they were actually making a distinction between like, there are genuinely trans people in our world. There's also gender dysphoria. Like those are two things that like exist. And I would argue that that's probably like with the gender dysphoria, that might be the Q in like LGBTQ where people are like questioning. But their whole point is that our society struggles with people being able to find their identity. And what we need is more mature masculine energy, not less masculine energy. But because masculine energy has been stunted and like kept in boy psychology for so long, they say that feminism has outlined the patriarchy, and that patriarchy is a manifestation of immature masculine energy, and that a lot of us that live in modern times don't realize that immature masculine energy is not the same thing as just saying masculine energy. So a lot of people fear masculine energy, but if we had their argument, their thesis in this book is that if we had more mature masculine energy in our culture, that would be actually the protection that we need for us to all be able to figure out our identities in a safe and loving environment. So, because at first I wasn't entirely sure with what they were saying in the introduction, where I was like, is this like some type of weird, because I'm American and there's been this huge, like right before the election, there was this big push, and now there's like another one that's kind of cropping up against trans people because it's like a perfect wedge issue because there's like 4 of them in the entire country. And this is a country that has real like actual problems. And there's like, they're talking about like 4 trans high school students that like, where are they going to change? And it's like, why, can't the school like handle this like individual case by case? They're trying to make women scared to go to the bathroom. And I really was like, I was getting a lot of that, like on my feed a lot. And I was like, how often has this like ever occurred in my life? Like never. So, where I've ever felt like uncomfortable, it's a non-issue for me, to be honest, but there's genuine issues in our society. Like we live in a time of mass inequality. Anyways, I'm on my soapbox again, but trans rights are human rights. Just, women's rights are human rights. I'm just very much for human rights. And that's just something that I just see people disagreeing with, and I find that abhorrent. But anyways, they're saying they agree with that, I think, and they feel like it's because patriarchy and this immature masculine has like taken over everything, and boy, it does. Okay, so what do we think? There aren't that many healthy masculine as public figures or in public or places of power. I agree. And so they talk about like the rituals and stuff about like, they're talking about how we can initiate that healthy masculine energy. So humanity is my religion. So read it. Okay. I'm going to read the first chapter. And because again, like there were certain ways that they were saying things in the introduction that like I had to go around. I don't think we should be turned off by that. I do think that it's important to process through like the different nuances that people are trying to say. And I do think this is a message that comes through on the channel a lot, where actually there is a distinction between what they call in the book boy psychology and man psychology. And that we don't actually have a lot of man psychology in our world. They also say that boy psychology is afraid of women and is afraid of mature men. And so that's why you hear the Andrew Tates of the world or the people who run my country, just things like that. Okay. Why be afraid to go to the bathroom that we can't? No. They were saying, okay. So somebody was asking why be afraid to go to the bathroom. They were saying that, okay, this is the way that I look at it, is that predators, as they've done from time immemorial, would dress up as a lady, let's say, to be able to go into the women's bathroom where there's only just women and they're in like vulnerable states, and then attack them. And so I would see these like stories there for a while that would like kind of scare me. It's so incredibly rare. To me, that's not a trans issue. The trans people and women are both being taken advantage of by the same predator, and we have to be better with our language. That is a predator problem. They will always find any way to abuse people. That's not trans people abusing people. That's somebody who's pretending to be trans abusing people. And so we have to have a way to distinguish between the two, because those are not the same groups. And just because it happens, like it happened this one time in the media, is like, I read this book called Virus of the Mind too, and it's about memetics, and it's the way that ideas transfer. And they gave this example of like this island, and on the island they have 1 shark attack a year, and that's like regular, that's normal. But when they have a news station that connects 3 islands, all of a sudden the news is reporting that there's 3 shark attacks every single year, and everybody starts to like panic, and really there hasn't been any more shark attacks because this island has 1 shark attack a year, as it always has. That island has a shark attack a year, and that other island has a shark attack a year. But then this idea kind of like starts to spread, and I feel like more people should be like aware of those kinds of things. But I feel like it was trying to be a wedge issue to try and get people to vote for certain people that they felt like were protecting them, or like were protecting their rights or something like that. I don't know. But it's just something that I noticed. It's so, I know, fear mongering. Exactly. Okay. I feel like we're all on the same page about that. And I really can't keep my mouth shut, like, because it bothers me. It just bothers me. It bothers me. So, anyways, they always need a scapegoat, and it's so trans people are like less than 1% of the US population. And like I said, this is a country with actual real issues. We live in the time of the greatest wealth inequality that has ever been. And that's the issue we should be talking about. So if you're talking about that at all, you're part of the problem. Like, okay, I need to stop. Okay. So let us, move into this book energy, and we'll see if we like it. And if not, because I haven't read like super far into this, so if not, we'll just stop. Okay, so it says the crisis in masculine ritual process. We hear it said of some men that, quote, he just can't get himself together. What this means on a deep level is that so-and-so is not experiencing and cannot experience his deep cohesive structures. He is fragmented. Various parts of his personality are split off from each other and leading fairly independent and often chaotic lives. A man who, quote, cannot get it together is a man who has probably not had the opportunity to undergo ritual initiation into the deep structures of manhood. He remains a boy, not because he wants to, but because no one has shown him the way to transform his boy energies into man energies. No one has led him into the direct and healing experiences of the inner world of the masculine potentials. When we visit the caves of our distant Cro-Magnon ancestors in France and descend into the dark of those otherworldly and innerworldly sanctuaries and light our lamps, we jump back in startled awe at wonder at the mysterious hidden wellsprings of masculine might we see depicted there. We feel something deep move within us. Here in Silent Strong, the magic animals, bison, antelope, and mammoth, leap and thunder in pristine beauty and force across the high vaulted ceilings and the undulating walls, moving purposefully into the shadows of the folds of the rock and then springing at us again in the light of our lamps. And here, painted within them, are the handprints of men, of the artist hunters, the ancient warriors and providers who met here and performed their primeval rituals. Anthropologists are almost universally agreed that these cave sanctuaries were created at least in part by men for men, and specifically for the ritual initiation of boys into the mysterious world of the male responsibility and masculine spirituality. But ritual processes, by the way, not all ritual processes were good. Sometimes they were graping these little boys and stuff. I do just want to point that out, okay? But ritual processes for the making of men out of boys is not limited to our conjectures about these ancient caves. As many scholars have shown, most notable among them, the Mircea Eliade, okay, I'm sorry, I mispronounced that, and Victor Turner, ritual initiatory process still survives in tribal cultures to this day in Africa, South America, islands in the South Pacific, and many other places. It survived until very recent times among the Plains Indians of North America. The study of ritual process by the specialists may tend towards dry reading, but we may see it enacted colorfully in a number of contemporary movies. Movies are like ancient folk tales and myths. They are stories we tell ourselves, about our lives and their meaning. In fact, initiatory process for both men and women is one of the great hidden themes of many of our movies. A good explicit example of this can be found in the movie The Emerald Forest, which I have never seen. Well, or if I have, I don't remember it. Here, a white boy has been captured and raised by Brazilian Indians. One day, he is playing in the river with a beautiful girl. The chief has noticed his interest in the girl for some time. This awakening of schmegel interest in the boy is a signal to the wise chief. He appears on the riverbank with his wife and some of the tribal elders and surprises Tommy at play with the girl. The chief booms out, "Tommy, your time has come to die." Everyone seems profoundly shaken. The chief's wife, playing the part of all women, of all mothers, asks, "Must he die?" The chief threateningly replies, "Yes." Then we see a fire-lit nighttime scene in which Tommy is seemingly tortured by the older men in the tribe and forced into the forest vines. He is being eaten alive by jungle ants. He writhes in agony, his body mutilated in the jaws of the hungry ants. We fear the worst. Finally, the sun comes up, though, and Tommy, still breathing, is taken down to the river by the men and bathed. The clinging ants washed from his body. The chief then raises his voice and says, "The boy is dead and the man is born." And with that, he is given his first spiritual experience, induced by a drug blown through the long pipe into his nose. He hallucinates, and in his hallucination discovers his animal soul, an eagle, and soars above the world in new and expanded consciousness, seeing as if from God's eyes view the totality of his jungle world. Then he is allowed to marry. Tommy is a man, and as he takes on a man's responsibilities and identity, he is moved first into the position of a brave in the tribe and then into the position of chief. It can be said that life's perhaps most fundamental dynamic is the attempt to move from a lower form of experience and consciousness into a higher or deeper level of consciousness, from a diffuse identity to a more consolidated and structured identity. All of human life at least attempts to move forward along these lines. We seek initiation into adulthood and into adult responsibilities and duties towards ourselves and others, into adult joys and adult rights, and into adult spirituality. Tribal societies had highly specific notions about adulthood, both masculine and feminine, and how to get to it. And they had ritual processes like the one in the Emerald Forest to enable their children to achieve what we would call calm, secure maturity. Our own culture has pseudo-rituals instead. There are many pseudo-initiations for men in our culture. Conscription into the military is one. The fantasy is that the humiliation and forced non-identity of boot camp will, quote, make a man out of you. The gangs of our major cities are another manifestation of pseudo-initiation, and so are the prison systems, which in large measure are run by gangs. We call this phenomenon pseudo events for two reasons. For one thing, with the possible exception of military initiation, these processes, though sometimes highly ritualized, especially within city gangs, more often than not initiate the boy into a kind of masculinity that is skewed, stunted, and false. It is the patriarchal manhood, one that is abusive of others and often of self. Sometimes a ritual schmurder is required of the would-be initiate. Usually the abuse of drugs is involved in the gang culture. The boy may become an acting out adolescent in these systems and achieve a level of development roughly parallel to the level expressed by the society as a whole in its boyish values, though in a contracultural form. But these pseudo-initiations will not produce men, because real men are not wantonly violent or hostile. Boy psychology, which we will look at in more detail in Chapter 3, is charged with the struggle for dominance of others, in some form of another. And it is often caught up in the wounding of self as well as others. It is sadomasochistic. Okay, so this is like why I kind of wanted to read this, is because it really did get me thinking. I feel like trepidatious of like treading into this. Also, a part of me feels like it's not like really for me understanding masculinity or like the masculine rituals, because as like they were describing, you know, it's the wife's job or it's the feminine's job to be like, does he really need to die? Like, do we need to really like, you know, and I kind of don't think he does, maybe. Need to be like, what do they say, tortured and like eaten by ants or something. But a lot of these themes I felt like had come out in the readings a lot, like this kind of sadomasochism or like this, you know, being lost in like one's own masculinity, maybe like getting caught up in these like kind of pseudo rituals that might take place in like a kind of cultural context. So I don't know. It got me thinking. It got me thinking a lot. Okay, so yeah, it's often caught up in the wounding of self as well as others. It is sadomasochistic. Man psychology is always the opposite. It is nurturing and generative, not wounding and destructive. In order for man psychology to come into being for any particular man, there needs to be a death. Death, symbolic, psychological, or spiritual, is always a vital part of any initiatory ritual. In psychological terms, the boy ego must, quote, die. The old ways of being and doing and thinking and feeling must ritually, quote, die before the new man can emerge. Pseudo initiation, I just want to make sure everybody knows that they're talking about like metaphorically. Pseudo initiation through placing some curbs on the boy's ego often amplifies the ego's striving for power and control in a new form, an adolescent form regulated by other adolescents. Effective, transformative initiation absolutely slays the ego and its desires in its old form to resurrect it with a new subordinate relationship to a previously unknown power or center. Submission to the power of the mature masculine energies always brings forth a new masculine personality that is marked by calm, compassion, clarity of vision, and generativity. A second factor makes most initiations in our culture pseudo-initiations. In most cases, there is simply not a contained ritual process. Ritual process is contained by two things. The first is sacred space, and the second is a ritual elder, a wise old man or a wise old woman, who is completely trustworthy for the initiate and can lead the initiate through the process and deliver him or her intact and enhanced on the other side. Mircea Eliade researched the role of sacred space extensively. He concluded that the space has been ritually hallowed and is essential to initiations of every kind. In tribal societies, this space can be a specifically constructed hut or house in which the boys awaiting their initiation are held. It can be a cave. It can be the vast wilderness in which the would-be initiate is driven in order to die or in order to find his manhood. The sacred space can be called the magic circle of magicians, or as in more advanced civilizations, it can be an inner room of the precincts of a great temple. This space must be sealed from the influence of the outside world, especially in the case of boys, from the influence of women. Often the initiates are put through terrifying, emotional, and excruciatingly painful physical trials. See, I don't really like this. But that's probably why they have to seal me out. They learn to submit to the pain of life, to the ritual elders, and to the masculine traditions and myths of the society. They are taught all the secret wisdom of men, and they are released from the sacred space only when they have successfully completed the ordeal and be reborn as men. The second essential ingredient for a successful initiatory process is the presence of a ritual elder. In the Emerald Forest, this is the chief and the other elders of the tribe. The ritual elder is a man who knows the secret wisdom, who knows the way of the tribe and closely guarded men's myths. He is the one who lives out a vision of mature masculinity. With a scarcity in our culture of mature men, it goes without saying that ritual elders are in desperate short supply. Thus, pseudo-initiations remain skewed towards reinforcement of boy psychology rather than allowing for a movement towards man psychology. even if some sort of ritual process exists, and even if a kind of sacred space has been set up on city streets or in a cell block. The crisis of mature masculinity is very much upon us. Lacking adequate models of mature men and lacking the societal cohesion and institutional structures for actualizing ritual process, it's every man for himself, and most of us fall by the wayside, with no idea what it was that was the goal of our gender drive or what we went wrong in our strivings. We just know we are anxious, on the verge of feeling impotent, helpless, frustrated, put down, unloved, and unappreciated, often ashamed of being masculine. We know that our creativity was attacked, that our initiative was met with hostility, and that we were ignored, belittled, and left holding the empty bag of our lost self-esteem. We cave into a dog-eat-dog world, trying to keep our work and our relationships afloat, losing energy or missing the mark. Many of us seek the generative, affirming, and empowering father, though most of us don't know it. The father who for most of us never existed in our actual lives and won't appear, no matter how hard we try to make him appear. However, as students of human mythology, as Jungians, we believe there is good news. It's this good news for men as well as women that we want to share. And it is this that we now turn. That leads to chapter 2, masculine potentials. Okay, but so the reason that I kind of wanted to read this is not because I agree with it, like in every capacity, but I thought that was really interesting that they were talking about putting men through like these different trials. And I do feel like not even just for men, like it's good for a lot of us to strive towards things. And I think maybe there could be different rituals and trials in our society. I don't know if they would call this like a pseudo initiation if I'm not trying to like harm someone. But it's like knowing what your strength is, like, okay, if you are like a warrior type person, then maybe it should be a physical kind of strength. Or if you're a smart person, maybe there's like somewhere where you can like test your mind or something here like that. Like maybe there should be different kinds of initiations that I agree should be challenging. And I agree, like not everybody should be able to fulfill those challenges. But I think like finding your place in society, we should kind of, help people maybe find that. But also another thing that I was thinking about is how for women, pregnancy and childbirth is a near-death experience for a lot of women. It is as close to death as a lot of women get in their lives, and is an extremely harrowing process. And I do know just from like history books that a lot of more tribal cultures, the men actually, like I don't know, like I'm thinking about Mayan culture in particular, like there's Central American cultures. I remember learning about this in my religious classes where we don't know a lot about this, but they had their bloodletting rituals. The men would have them on like on a monthly basis. They viewed women and having their monthly cycle as being an offering to the gods, but they would cut their tongues and like things like that to give to I don't know, whatever god that they were worshiping, or for like whatever ritual or something, but it was like to be a part of like the society. And they sort of put themselves through these like regular rituals and these regular trials. But I think in a way, and I still don't think that we should do this, but I think that it would definitely change the way that people view schmegdual relations, because where I feel like you see like a lot of the Andrew Tates and stuff where they're just so disrespectful towards schmegduality and women, and they treat it like it's just a thing to flippantly do, like on a Saturday night, like when you get like all messed up in your head and there's, like, I don't think that that's like quite right either, because you are playing with death energy. But to put a masculine energy on the verge of his budding schmegduality through a death process, in a way, it evens it out a bit, where it's like, so if you're going to partake in women or like the schmegdual act, you have also confronted death, because that is what your presence near her is asking to do. And so it's like we get on the page of that, like, I don't know. And I think maybe that does come from the being energy and the doing energy, because women, you will naturally, that's something that as a part of life, naturally, like we have, we do have birth controls and, medicines and things like that now, but it would just like sort of happen. Whereas men in these tribal cultures, I do know that there was like that kind of acknowledgement that they needed to do what women naturally kind of are put through and don't really have a choice in. And I'm not saying that we should do that, but it got me thinking. It really got me thinking. And to make our own abundance. Yeah. So I just wanted to share this. I don't think I'm going to read the rest of this, at least like maybe not here, unless you guys really want me to, if you found that to be like interesting in some type of way. But I don't know, maybe I'll read ahead because I just saw in here, and I think this is why I wanted to read it, because I just skimmed through, and again, I saw like the different archetypes, which I really like books with like the different archetypes like actually listed out in it. Like we read Why Does He Do That? And there was like the different archetypes of the abusers, and there's different archetypes like here, and I think that's why I was kind of thinking I would read it, but I don't know. So, okay. I remember when I cleaned her. Yeah. I like other perspectives. Doesn't hurt to know it. Yeah, I know. That's kind of how I feel about it too. Is like really kind of at least trying to understand like where somebody is coming from. And yeah, trying to understand. I don't know. Anyways, sorry if I got on my soapbox a little bit too much today. But thanks for hanging out with me. I just watched a reading where you talked about being a killer whale's favorite trainer. Oh yeah, in that reading, you talked about initiation rituals for boys and them needing context to value women in society. Yeah, like how can we do that? I do think it's something that we should spend time thinking about, you know, as a society. And I don't know, but I do see it happening more and more. I will say that, like, I have just seen a lot of men actually stand up to like the Andrew Tate types, and they're like, I don't know why would you think that makes you cool, that you like degrade and devalue other human beings. More and more men like really are starting to say that out loud, but it felt like there for a while, like for a few years, there was like no pushback at all. There was just all these kind of like weird incel type guys, and then that kind of corresponded with this like rise of this kind of like fascistic thought and anti-democracy sentiments, because, you know, democracy is freedom for everyone, you know, and you have to protect freedom for everyone to like be able to have democracy. But instead there was this kind of ranking based on superiority and these kind of arbitrary markers of superiority. And, you know, it seems like boy psychology to me. Yeah. The most pain a human will ever experience, she has a void that may never heal. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get off of here, but thanks for being my people. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope to see you next week. For those of you that are on Patreon, we have our pre-vote readings. We did the romance vote reading, and it is what are their guides trying to say, and are they listening? And then the non-romance, spirit giving you your flowers. So, okay. I feel weird. I feel so weird about the conversation that we just had. But anyways, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Bye, guys.